Good evening, all. It's Saturday night, 8th of May, and we are here doing our end of the week virtual pub chats, talking bollocks for a while. As you know, we do it very well. So, yeah, we're here to talk more bollocks for your pleasure and our pleasure as well. I hope you are all very well today. So, So normally on a Saturday, we kind of do, we kind of look at what's been going on during the week in the entertainment business. But this week seems to have been very quiet for some reason. I don't know if it's a calm before the storm or before something big happens. Who knows? It just seems to have been very, very quiet. Other than the kind of superhero stuff, which I thought we'd kind of avoid tonight. So tonight's show, I thought we would kind of follow on a little from yesterday's volume 103 show. Please check that one out if you haven't already done so. Today's show is going to be about the amazing Oscar-winning Ralph McQuarrie. Yesterday we kind of covered pretty much most of his spaceship stuff, a little bit of the concept art as well. But today we will be kind of celebrating mainly his concept art. Some in the business have said he's basically the best concept designer in the film business. And as I said yesterday, we have seen his work in such great television shows as Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, and in film with E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Trek, and Star Wars. I thought tonight we would go through the Star Wars stuff, specifically Star Wars, the original, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So there you go. Shall we introduce our guests? Right. Okay. We'll do the kind of produced written introductions, which I kind of keep going back to, kind of modifying them on the hoof, as it were. So all the way from somewhere in Leicester with his amazing sounding Blue Yeti mic, other brands are available, pop culture commentator and massive Star Wars fan. He's writing a Star Wars book, don't you know? The great Demonscythe Synthwave, or I call him on the channel Swap Shop. Hello, mate.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope you didn't nod off then. It was a long ramble. I do apologise. Are you good, my friend?
I'm all right. Thank you very much. I'm suffering the after effects of having a rather large Indian curry, but I'm not in any discomfort. And if anything pops out, I'll be sure to mute myself.
Surely that would be tomorrow.
Oh, I don't know. It can work its way through you pretty quick, depending on what you've had.
And what have you partaked in tonight?
Tandoori mixed grill. Oh, it was beaut.
Meaty, was it?
Oh, extremely meaty. Yes, had these amazing kebab naan bread roll things that have been marinated in honey mustard. Oh man, I tell you,
you're a fan of meat.
I know where you're going with this. And should we move on to the next guest?
You should have a job doing presenting, mate. You should try it one day with lead-ins like that. Well done, mate. Okay, so next, the boy wonder from somewhere down under who speaks tons of chunder. He doesn't come up for breath much. Apparently, he's just woken up as well. So he's on our spectrum, and we're not talking about computers either. The legend in his own lunchtime. Here he is, ladies and peeps. Matt Sleepyhead Pott. Hey.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Fluffy. You all right?
Yeah. I've just been on cloud number 9, whatever they call it. I'm awake now.
Is it Australian for the toilet?
No, I've been nowhere near that. So, not yet, anyway.
Is there a silver lining to Cloud9?
No.
Moving on.
No.
It's going to be one of those shows, ladies and peeps. He's just woken up. I think it's going to take a while for him to warm up. So other than just waking up, are you good, my friend?
Yes, very good. I'm good to be alive.
We all are.
Or half alive?
Are you coherent?
Half asleep. Yeah, I'm coherent. I'll probably be doing a lot of listening, but yeah.
Jesus. God, it's going to be one of them, peeps. It's going to be one of them. Okay, we'll bring in the last guest, waiting in the wings. Bringing up the rear, just how he likes it, the writer, producer, director, and more importantly, the non-jerk chicken eater who used to be partial to Doctor Who. We all did, apparently. The great Ian David Diaz, known as the MegaGeek. Hello, mate.
Right, how's it going?
I'm not bad. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm fine. What are we talking about today? Ralph McQuarrie.
Yes, that's my prompt to get a move on, ladies and peeps.
Well, before
you, mate.
Matt falls asleep, you know what I mean? Let's just get a move on.
I need some salts.
yeah, definitely.
I know what you need, and it's not salts, mate.
Yeah, that too. No morning wood today.
Yeah. What time's it over there, Matt?
Sexy time.
8:15 in the morning, but mind you, though, I was up a little bit earlier this morning.
Yeah, you were.
Matt, you need to change your mic to the other one because that's breaking up, mate.
Oh, okay. It's my Bluetooth. It's all right.
Yeah,
I'll change it.
Bluetooth ain't good, mate.
No, I know.
Sounds like you're underwater a bit.
Sounds like
That's hilarious.
So did we all enjoy yesterday's Ralph McQuarrie homage? Yes. Okay. Was it? Yes.
Oh, yes.
We've had reasonable viewing figures on that, so must have gone down well.
We know Matt too did because he loves Star Wars, and Star Wars is his thing, man. Star Wars is his thing.
We all loved Star Wars until it betrayed us, didn't it?
Well, there's only Star Wars, and Disney Star Wars doesn't exist in my mind, so that's why I said Matt too loves Star Wars, and I didn't say Disney Star Wars. So there you go.
Disney. Right. Okay. So what I did before I came on was what I did yesterday. Just kind of rifled through the internet to see what pictures were available. Obviously, if we kind of breaking copyright rules with using people's images, we do apologize if it's a problem. Blah 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 blah. So I just grabbed a selection of concept art from Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. They're not in any particular order, but they are grouped in the film. So they're not sequential in the film, as it were. So I do apologize if it goes a little bit skew with. So as I said, it's the concept art of Ralph McQuarrie. So hopefully, if the technology works.
We saw that last time. Yeah.
Not that one.
I think we did we not? Oh, maybe not.
No,
maybe
there are a couple of repeats, but mainly new stuff. Yeah, so
it's a very, very skinny Luke looking at Mos Eisley, apparently.
Well, he wasn't Luke anyway, was he? He was
Starkiller, wasn't he?
He was Deek Starkiller.
Yeah.
Who was that? Please explain. I don't know.
Before he was called Luke Skywalker, he was called Matt. What was his first name?
Deke.
Deke Starkiller. Starkiller.
Deke Starkiller. Wow.
Yep.
Look how long that gun is in his back. Or is it a gun or something? It's quite long, isn't it?
Something a sand person had.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Starkiller doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
No, it doesn't. Skywalker does, though. But then again, if he was called Starkiller and it had proceeded with Starkiller, we would have been used to Starkiller. So, but yeah, it's Skywalker. So, yeah.
Swappers?
Yeah, absolutely love this image.
Yeah,
even though it's all very proto, but it's just incredibly well rendered, and it just evokes that moment in the movie perfectly. And also reminds me of the Dark Horse comics that released before Disney brought them out. That were based on Lucas's original script treatment for the Star Wars, and Deke Starkiller is in that, and Anakin, his brother. It's all the names spelled differently, and they all look a bit different. But Deke looks just like Luke, and Anakin's got like long blonde hair and stuff. Right. Really good. If you Google the images, they look great. But the story itself could do a lot with a lot of work. But it was based on McQuarrie's original art and stuff, and this just reminds me of that. It's great.
Yeah.
Are these what he would have when Lucas went in pitching Star Wars?
He didn't have anything visual. Yeah, he didn't have anything visual to show off, so he got McQuarrie involved just to depict a few pivotal scenes in the movie to try and get across his ideas. And clearly,
he went in. He went in and said, "Oh, this is Ray Starkiller, and that's my idea, Ray. Ray Starkiller. Hello,
bestest ever."
But do you know what? You're right, because Ray did kill Star Wars, didn't she? Really, let's face it. Yeah. But I mean, you know,
poor Daisy.
It's such a great painting, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how long it took him to paint that, but it just evokes such a lot when you look at that picture. The scope and it looks like an alien planet. It just looks alien. The whole thing looks alien, and you know, it's just a great little image.
Looks desolate.
That heat haze on the horizon as well. It just looks so great. You know, the atmosphere, the way that you can tell it's a hot planet, you can tell it's desolate. You can tell it's like inhospitable, and even the alternate coronas on the twin suns as well.
Yeah,
right down to that kind of detail. The way one's sort of set off at an angle and stuff, and you can see that they're kind of on their way across the sky, and it kind of gets across so much. There's a hovering vehicle; it's not even moving; it's just sat there hovering. You know, it's obviously
what's the vehicle called again?
That's just a land speeder.
Yeah,
it's got a little wheel underneath, hasn't it?
It looks very kind of 30s, 40 kind of Art Deco-ish.
Yes, it does. You're right. Yeah. He was going for the
Flash Gordon.
The Flash Gordon aesthetic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good painting. It's a really good painting.
To be fair, going through as I said, the Tinternet, the quality of his work is just outstanding. Because I've never seen the book. And I know that Potter's got the book.
I'm just amazed how somebody could actually paint like that, you know, because I can draw, but I can't draw to the extent of that. I saw a picture once of somebody with their fingers and they were just painting something and they ended up in the end, because it was done, it was speeded up, you know, and in the end he drew to someone's face. I was like, how do you do that? You know, and so I'm always amazed when people like is it Peter Ellenshaw used to do a lot of matte paintings for Disney and for a lot of movies. I think he did it for the Black Hole, and he would just look at the glass and start painting. You know, I mean, there'd be a bit of the set, and he's got to complete the set, but he would just look at it and he'd just start painting. I'm like, how the hell do you do that?
It's as a kind of artist myself, it is. Obviously, practice, and practice. But effectively, it's just brain training. The practice is just brain training. And these guys have probably been drawing, sketching for years and years and years. And they're just so fine-tuned when we look at them, we're just like, wow. But they're just so fine tuned and practiced. They can just crash it out, and they are incredible. Yeah, it is incredible.
Yeah. Well,
I could never produce anything like that. I don't even think people on Photoshop could produce stuff like that with the kind of.
I did produce stuff like this when I was very, very young. With 17, 18, 19, I could do stuff like. Not anymore though. I can't do stuff like this anymore because I've been so out of practice.
Yeah,
on stuff like this.
Yeah, before I went to university, the summer vacation jobs, well, homework was to go around the village doing pencil drawings of the village, and I was just crashing them out. Like I did about 30, and it's just practice. Towards the end, I could just do like a big A2 pencil drawing in about an hour or so. At the beginning, very slow, but it's just practice. I couldn't draw for the life of me now, but there you go. I would struggle.
Yeah, I you know, as I said, even when I was 17, I'd struggle to do that. It'd probably take me a whole month to do something like that. But I would be able to achieve it and stuff. You know what? I think this painting, and when they did it in the movie, wasn't there Arabs that thought it was real and wanted to buy it off Lucasfilms? That's a true story, right? Yeah. When they saw it in the movie, they thought it was real, and they contacted Lucasfilms and they wanted to buy it, apparently, and they had to be told it wasn't real. It was just a model. So yeah. So there you go.
Oh yeah, I would imagine the kind of tank tracks would have been off something for the close-ups.
Yeah, but it did look real in the movie.
Oh yeah, I didn't think it. I thought it was real.
Yeah, so they wanted to buy it.
I tell you what, I didn't know it ran so fast until it was in the Mandalorian.
Oh,
and then I was like, gee, they put the motors on full bore, didn't they?
Yeah. Well,
I just always thought it was lumbering, and for the size of it.
Yeah, it was in the sand, wasn't it? It was moving very, very slow in Star Wars. But yeah. It's just like that tank chase in GoldenEye. I didn't know a tank could skid around a corner. How did that happen? Yeah, artistic license, I guess.
Being pulled along, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Swap shop. Did you like the twin moons?
Yeah, I'm sure it's got twin everything this planet, hasn't it? Luke was a twin stars, twin suns, twin moons, probably twin alien species everywhere as well.
I see a pattern.
It's like living in a small town in England. You walk around and you see the same person walk past you twice. You know.
Yeah,
they're all related to each other.
Exactly. I've come from a place like that. I know exactly what it's like. I tell you what, of course you are when you're 4 years old, you believe all this stuff, but I genuinely thought, I knew it wasn't real. I knew Star Wars wasn't real, but for some reason, you don't kind of realize it's not real when you're watching the film. You kind of think it's reality.
Well, yeah, that's the magic, yeah.
And when I saw the making of on TV, maybe a year or two later, I saw the bit with the land speeder and Luke jumping out of it to go out to run back to his to Owen and Beru's igloo place. And as they were doing it, the land speeder was like connected. It was like on a carousel. It was like on a big beam.
It went round and round, didn't it?
Yeah, on this spinning thing in the center, just to sort of show it pulling in, I suppose, just for that effect. And I saw it, and I just went, "Oh shit!" So it doesn't actually. I didn't say, "Oh shit." I was only about 6. But I just went, oh no, really? It's like it doesn't actually hover. I was like so gutted. I was so gutted it didn't hover. It wasn't hovering in real life. And then it all came sort of crashing down afterwards after I saw that. And it's like sometimes it's best to just never look behind the curtain, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember in that making of they showed that they put mirrors at the bottom of the land speeder. So when it was moving at speed, it was basically reflecting the floor, so it looked like it was floating. Yeah. That was pretty clever. How
Very
they did
clever.
that.
Yeah, they thought about it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They thought about it.
It's not like nowadays I will fix it in post.
Yeah. It's they always do that. These
they
days,
can fix anything in post.
Well, you joke about it, but they can. I remember seeing a documentary on Young Indiana Jones, and Young Indiana Jones was shot on Super 16. And in those days, special effects were just getting started. And I remember seeing the behind the scenes where they showed the guy who's playing the young Indian, and he walked into the shot, and the mic, you could see the mic clearly in front of him. And then they did another take when the mic had disappeared. And that was the first time I ever saw something rubbed out or film. That, you know, the very first time I'm like, what? How did I get rid of the mic? But now you can do anything now on Adobe After Effects or anything, you know. Yeah. So there you go, technology.
And you're the man who would know.
Well, I do bit. I'm not I'm no expert. Still learning, me. Still learning. Never too old to learn. That's what I say.
I think this one's from Star Wars.
It is, yeah. It is, because you can see the Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's meant to be. Han Solo versus Greedo, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Right, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Han Solo looks a bit different.
Looks like is there a dead body on the far right?
I don't
know. Looks like a pair of testicles on a table.
No, I just think it's a turnover. The chair's turned over, and it's like meat on the table or something.
It's some fruit.
Yeah, fruit.
Yeah. It looks like a really, really small bug-eyed alien looking at
it. Yeah.
MC says it
looks
Cantina.
like the snorkeler. Looks like the snorkel spy. I call him the snorkel spy.
But I mean, it definitely is Han Solo. It's meant to be Han Solo's in the canteen.
Yeah.
But
he's got the swagger, right?
Yeah. It's a good painting. You know, as I said, I couldn't. That would take me a whole bloody month to paint. You know, I couldn't do that. I mean, I'm guessing that Ralph did it in maybe even a week, or maybe in 3 days. Yeah, or even a day, even.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a pretty good painting.
Yeah, and it's a bit wrong because there's droids in the cantina.
Yeah, they were arrested Han Solo.
There's a big plant pot towards the left as well.
And that alien
looks like an owl. There's an owl.
Well, that alien hiding behind the wall looks like he's smelling his ass or something, isn't he? I don't know what's he doing there. I don't know what he's doing there.
It's a great mood coming from this picture, though, isn't there? Really, you know, it's kind of you feel a bit scared being in that scenario with all these weird creatures, even though it's not as weird, and you're not in as deep as you are in the cantina in the actual movie, but there's kind of like the stark brightness of the far background, and you feel like you're in the dark area and you're witnessing something going down, and you can almost hear the sounds and stuff around you and of the environment. And you've got known characters like there's R2 and C-3PO on the very, very far left.
Yeah,
just poking around the pillow. You've got a stormtrooper who's in there a bit early, and these assortment of like weird but amazing looking characters that you'd love to see actually in one of the movies now. You know, even though they're only concepts. And Han, I think that's supposed to be Han because he's going for the master, is wearing the kind of outfit with the headgear on that all the concept characters wore, where there was like a Starkiller concept, which was like a little girl who was supposed to be the main character. And there was Luke and there was Obi-Wan and a few other characters. And they all had that same suit on as well. So that was obviously going to be the kind of the standard good guy outfit of the time, you know, with the headgear and the shoulder pads and all this sort of stuff. And that was going to be the aesthetic. Obviously, it all changed over time. But the guy that he's confronting, I think the alien.
Greedo.
Yeah, it's like I think it's supposed to be like it's like a they used ideas between Chewbacca, Greedo, and the concept idea of Han Solo. And they're all very, very similar to that creature, because Han Solo originally was going to be like some weird green alien guy.
He was.
And Chewbacca was going to be...
He looks like a devil, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Chewbacca was going to be like a bizarre kind of like Eddie from Iron Maiden mascot type sort of looking facially creature. And
I've seen it because he's in Rebels, isn't he? He's the main character in Rebels.
Zeb, yeah, they used that artwork to create Zeb. That's right. And then you've got Greedo, who's this like proto version of him right here. So they were all playing with identities and characters and everything at this point. They didn't know who was going to be who yet. But you know, they thought, well, we just need a confrontation, a duel somewhere in an alien bar. And McQuarrie obviously came up with this image to show the investors, and it worked. You know, it's just so great. Even though this didn't turn out to be what we saw, it's just still awesome.
You know, C-3PO looks like Dot Matrix from Spaceballs in the back.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, a bit.
Still looks amazing there, though, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He
it
looks
does,
quite
yeah.
different, but he's so good. I love it.
Would at this stage, would the story, the script, have pretty much been in the bag, other than kind of?
No,
Because it looks like a storyboard for the actual.
No, it's
No.
with George Lucas, right? I don't know what's true because I've read a lot about. I remember when Star Wars came, and I basically just got everything I could on Star Wars, and I read a lot about it. Basically, I think at this moment in time, he was still called Star Killer, and it was still, it was all a concept idea. The script was written, but it was like over 100 pages long. It was basically two films, and you had to cut it down to one. So it's when you think about it, though, the when somebody does something like this and you think this is great, it's all dictated by the budget. So it would be great to see what's his name, the villain there with the gun. Greedo. It'd be great to see Greedo like that in the movie, but obviously they couldn't afford that. So Greedo had a mask and bug eyes. Yeah. So dictate the budget dictates what you can actually, what you can actually shoot, I guess. So.
Right.
Now this is a great painting. This shows you the scope of what Lucas wanted to do.
It was a great scene in the film.
You've never seen anything like this in any sci-fi film up until Star Wars. That was the thing, and we understood force fields and stuff like from Star Trek. Yeah. So we didn't need any explanation when the Millennium Falcon was coming into the Death Star. We weren't thinking, why aren't they all flying out because of the why aren't they all flying out of space because there's no gravity? So we all understand the concept that they had their own gravity, and there was a force field stopping them from flying out and stuff like that.
Obviously, more importantly, John Williams' soundtrack belting in the background as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
This is what annoys me about, the people of worth anything, people of worth any kind of intelligence that understand Star Wars as it is and understand its depths and nuances and everything, and its technology and Lucas's ideas. Can figure out and appreciate the idea of force fields without barriers, the way that you can retain atmosphere without losing it, all that sort of stuff. And you get normies watching it and they don't even care, and then they see a film like the Disney movies with all its completely law-breaking physics and everything, with characters floating in through doorways and the atmosphere not venting into space, and you sort of say to them, look, this is rubbish. This is crap. Don't you understand? They don't care about what they're doing. They haven't got force fields. They're just opening windows and doors into space, and no one's dying. And you get the normies in there going, but the Romans used to do that. There used to be like no windows and doors everywhere when a spaceship just flew in. It's just these idiots can't conceive of these simple ideas. It really annoys me.
Don't hold back, mate. Mr. Pott.
It really winds me up. It really winds me up.
Oh yeah, no, it's just an iconic scene, isn't it? And I'm so glad that they were able to transfer it to the cinema.
Yeah, I remember seeing this, seeing the scene where the Millennium Falcon comes into the Death Star, and thinking to myself, how the hell did they do that? I mean, it was very convincing at the time. When I was a kid. Well, I was a kid. Basically, what was I?
You still are.
Yeah. More or less. Best way to be, really. Let's face it. I don't want to grow up.
No.
Who wants to grow up? No one wants to grow up.
Boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boring.
Well, I do. I hate being a fucking adult. I do. It's like you got to do adult things. And it's like, except for the sex, it's not really. There's not much really great about it.
Well, there's no sex for me, so it's not an issue.
Do you know what? Right. I went to I always take my nieces to the cinema, and my niece Jamie, at the time, I can't remember, she was like 7 or 8.
30 minutes.
And we're waiting at the bus stop, right? And where you sit with those red chairs? She was literally lying on the chairs and sliding up and down on the chairs, just having fun. And when I was looking at it, I was thinking to myself, God, if I did that right now, everybody will think I was crazy. Do you know what I mean? But she's so lucky because she's a
you were
kid,
tempted.
You know, she's a kid. She could do that. You know, and she has no sense that people are looking at her thinking, you know, why doesn't, because obviously why doesn't the uncle control that girl? But I just looked at her and I thought she's having fun. Just leave her alone. Those are the things I miss. The things
Having
about not
fun.
being embarrassed.
I miss it.
Yeah, not being embarrassed. That being yourself. When you grow up, they teach you about. They take things away from you. Then you have to grow up. You know what I mean? They're just kids are so lucky. Then they don't realize how lucky they are. That's the thing. So, anyway,
and the problem is, people are trying to take that away from kids and making them grow up. But
now they are.
They are.
What's all kinds of weird stuff on them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would we say that's probably one of the better scenes from Star Wars? There were a lot of them.
Yeah, I love this scene so much.
That's the where fuck scene, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less. yeah.
I love the pacing of this scene though. It's so serene, you know, and it's very slow the way the Falcon just
sense of scale is amazing.
Yeah.
It is a very well designed movie, and just to think, right, it was all, you know, he had a plan, but he didn't realize how much Star Wars was going to change the world. Let's think about this.
Indeed,
it changed,
still changed
the world. Yeah, and also, right, it was the biggest box office hit of I can't remember how many years, and it was a fantasy film, and it was more or less a kids' film. Do you know how groundbreaking that was when that happened?
Yeah, because Matt Swap Shop, he actually posted something on Twitter about you know, these people being interviewed about going to see it, and they were like, they were adults, and then one of them said, "Oh, why are you going to see this?" And he said, "Oh, we're into the space program." And it's like, yeah, well, that's yeah. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I think it's a bit different to space programs, but anyway, obviously there hadn't been anything like it before. You know, Planet of the Apes was a space program.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it had a very. I mean, what's? I mean, obviously, Matt too would know what I'm talking about. Other sci-fi films that came before Star Wars,
Logan's Run.
Yeah, exactly. They were all grounded films, weren't they? But I think 2001 was the closest visual effects wise to Star Wars.
Yeah, Silent Running.
But Silent Running wasn't that close. I mean, the designs and everything, and plus it was only the one ship, wasn't it? And it wasn't exactly flying around like 2001. And but I'm just saying that look at the distance between Star Wars and 2001. Those kind of effects hadn't been seen for ages, and then Star Wars came along, 77, I think it was, and blew the world away. But not by having the ships floating slowly, and he added the excitement to it. That's George Lucas didn't realize what he was doing. He added the excitement to an adventure. You know, very simple. Princess, you know, rogue, hero, rescue her, blow up the Death Star. End of story.
Couple of robots, bish bash.
Couple of robots. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was very simple. Yeah, but it was done in a fantastical way. You know, groundbreaking. Change, and also remember, right? It influenced a lot of people, but it influenced a lot of filmmakers. If it wasn't for this film, James Cameron would not have existed.
A lot of people wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So George Lucas didn't realize what he was doing. He was going to. His film changed the world. More ways than you think.
It did. Do you think it brought science fiction, sci-fi to the masses?
Yes,
it did.
Brought it mainstream. Yeah.
I don't think this this scene was seen in the film.
No, it wasn't.
But again, you still get the sense of scale with that.
Yeah. But as I said, you know, there's a groundbreaking film, and it changed the world. And a lot of people, when they talk about Star Wars, they don't realize that's what it did. And everybody's like, "Oh, Star Wars is a kids' film." Yeah, but it's more than a kids' film. It created filmmakers. It made people wonder. You know, if it wasn't for Star Wars, I would never have been a filmmaker. Close Encounters and Star Wars, I'd never have been. If I didn't see those films, I'd probably be working in Tesco's or something, you know, manager of Tesco's or some crap like that. But, you know, those films change people's lives. I mean, come on, you know. Fincher, yeah, he was. So I was told. But yeah.
Apparently he did okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Millennium Falcon scene.
Yeah. It has the makings, doesn't it? I mean, obviously
not quite what we saw.
Not yet. Yeah.
Polished.
Not yet. But you look at the scope of it though, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a shopping mall.
There'll be a branch of Tesco's in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Great art. Absolutely terrific. Although that guy down there's got long legs, isn't he? Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're seeing the evolution of the Millennium Falcon as well.
Yeah.
It's always, it's almost like a simplified version, isn't it?
Okay, and that's what we saw yesterday, the kind of Mark 1 version.
It's like half it's missing.
With the Apollo capsule on the front end like I saw yesterday. So
back of it.
Yeah, the arse end of the Millennium Falcon in the hangar by the looks of it.
I've never actually seen that image before. That's amazing.
Yeah. Looks like a pancake.
Saucer.
Yeah, it looks like a flying saucer. Yeah, definitely.
As George Lucas said, the hamburger. Yeah,
it's a Jupiter too.
I always thought when we would have got to the 2000s when I was a kid that we will be witnessing flying cars, but apparently we haven't gotten there yet.
No, they're too worried we're going to hit too many birds.
We've got electric ones.
Yeah, but not flying cars. I remember when I was a kid, I was thinking to myself, God, wouldn't it be great if they advertise and you could see the TVs in the sky and on buildings and stuff? That would be amazing. You know? Yeah, exactly. And now they can do it, and now they do it, and I'm not even amazed anymore. You know, so there you go.
Well, there was a time where they were going to advertise on the moon.
Wow, that'd be great.
Yeah, Coca-Cola and that were actually going to advertise on the moon, like giant billboard.
We should be on the moon. We should be on the moon all day long.
Now, yeah.
I don't want to be on the moon because it will drift away like in Space 1999.
Someone will fuck up and it will blow off out of orbit, and you know.
Oh, this is terrific. Thanks, Matt. Too, absolutely terrific. Thank you.
We must cover Space 1999 at some point. I've been threatening to do it for a long time.
I can't remember it that much. Space 1999. I do remember some of it. I need to rewatch it when I get the chance.
So good.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Brian Johnson, who did all the special effects.
Brian Johnson, and who's the other guy that did the effects?
Derek Meddins.
Derek Meddins. I actually met Derek Meddins once, and I was in awe. I was in awe of him because he was talking about. Because I was so amazed. I met him when I met him when random, and I met him when I think it was a year after Moonraker, and he was talking about Moonraker. Yeah, and he was talking about the because I said to him that scene where all the big fight in space, and I said, did you use computer graphics? And he said no. He said it's all done by wires and little models and stuff like that. And I was amazed because Star Wars had came out, you know, the year, and they used motion control cameras, didn't they? But Derek Meddins, he did all those effects in Moonraker, old fashioned way, with models and string and stuff.
I've got his book. He's got a whole book on the whole subject, but it's mostly all about Jerry Anderson stuff.
Yeah,
I would say the scene on Moonraker where the Drax shuttle is taking off inside the huge hangar. Bearing in mind, this was 2 years before the shuttle actually took off for real.
Yeah.
Fuck, it looked amazing.
They wanted Meddings for the 2001, didn't they? And the Anderson said no, they can't afford to get rid of him. You know.
Yeah, but I think he used he was talking about I even saw it in a documentary. It was talking about a bit where there's that big fight in space between the Americans and Drax's men, and he had to crank the camera back 21 times. So you know how it works, don't you? With the effects in those. It was even the same way they did Alien as well, because they didn't have remote control camera in Alien.
Right.
So what they would do is they'd shoot the model on a black cloth, whatever, and then they would add the starfield in, and they would crank the camera back so that the starfield could be put in, but the starfield wouldn't cross with the ship. Otherwise, if it does, you'll see right through the ship, and you'll see that they're both different elements. So if you look at a starfield carefully, there'll be a black bit that doesn't have any stars, so the ship can go right through it. And they did that with Alien. I don't know if you remember the scene when the Nostromo went down to the planet, and half the planet was lit and the other half was black. So when the Nostromo was going down to the planet, it was just black. It was just a black cloth that was going down. Yeah. So they had to crank the camera back to have that shot of the other side of the planet on that frame. And with Moonraker, when they were doing all the models fighting, they had 21 elements. So they had to crank the camera back 21 times.
Wow.
And he didn't think it was going to work, but it did. It worked beautifully. So there you go. But he did talk to me about that. But he's a really nice. Well, he's dead now, but he was a really nice guy.
Yeah. Some of the stuff on
he did Superman and Batman.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he did.
If you look carefully with the Space 1999 stuff, going back to what you've just said, you don't see two elements of the pictures crossing over, as it were.
No, yeah.
Like an eagle kind of flying towards a planet. You never actually see the eagle flying, with the planet behind, because obviously that would make it very, very difficult to do all the matting and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, as I said, it wasn't. They couldn't afford to do matting at that time, so they had to crank the camera back and make sure the two elements didn't sort of existed in the same space. So. That was. I mean, I think Alien won an Oscar for the effects. And when you think about it, Star Wars had came out, Close Encounters had came out, and Alien was just using old school effects, and that's pretty amazing. And it won an Oscar, so that's really cool.
I briefly saw the Ralph McQuarrie drawings for the spaceship for Close Encounters.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so we saw that one yesterday. Obviously, this is the
R2D2 going, fuck, I'm not getting on there.
Yeah,
he's off.
I've got to go to do Star Trek for JJ and get flushed out the.
It's a pretty good. Do you know what? All these paintings are absolutely fantastic, aren't they?
They're amazing,
yeah. In fact, I'm talking about Star Wars influencing people. Matt too is definitely influenced by Star Wars. If it wasn't for Star Wars, he wouldn't be writing his opus right now, would he?
Oh yeah, I mean it's part of my DNA.
How's it going? Have you done any more recently, or has it just been the old decor rating?
A bit of both, really. I did a fair bit on it last night. To be honest with you, I did a good few pages last night. I've kind of reached a point of it where it's kind of a bit tenuous. I'm trying to sort of correct mistakes the films have made and make things make sense. And I can just imagine like Ian reading it and going, "Oh yeah, I like what you've done here. I like what you're doing. I like this." Yeah, because he's brutally honest. Let's face it, and we love him for it. But imagine him saying, I really like what you've done, but this bit here is a little bit dodgy, isn't it? Because this person, how that doesn't make sense how that happens, and they wouldn't really do that, would they? And I think that they'd probably call in a search party. You wouldn't bugger off and say, "Oh, I've got to go and try and reconnect with the Force to come back, and then I'll be able to find that person again." No, they'd call in a search party. And I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh shit, Ian, would you just shut up, mate? I'm trying to write here."
But you know what, Matt, right? I've been through all that as well, okay, right? And now I'm older and a bit wiser. I've realized that the more it hurts, the better your strip's going to be.
It's true.
Because if it hurts, right, that means they're onto something. And if they're onto something, at the end of the day, your strip's going to be better.
Yeah.
So, you know, I remember I have a friend named Alan. He's my DOP, and I've always used him in my stuff. And he's brutally honest, more brutal than me. And he does piss me off from time to time, but I keep have to remind myself that he's pissing me off because he wants it better. And if he's right and I'm feeling this way, he's got to have a point.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Just say it would just be what he's saying to himself, wouldn't it? So, and he's got high standards, and he's holding you to those standards as well. So he's got a lot of respect for you to hold you to those standards. So, you know, it's a compliment, if anything. Yeah,
but also you have to remember as well is that you have to know what a good criticism is and what a bad one is. Like, this is just a really raw, small example. If you in your script you have someone that walks through the door and he's in London, then he walks through the door and it's not a sci-fi and he's in Hawaii, then yes, of course, somebody says, well, that doesn't make any sense. You know, of course it doesn't make any sense. But if somebody says, I don't like that character because he's wearing red shoes, then that's just an opinion. Yeah, you can go left or right on that one. Do you know what I mean? So you have to know the difference.
This is the problem I've had when not attacking, but criticizing the sequel tragedy movies online. Is, you know, I'm sort of saying, look, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. You can't appreciate a film where it's just so discontinued. The continuity isn't there. You know, it's discombobulated. It's
all over the place. Yeah,
you're taking leaps of logic, and all these people that are defending it are going, oh no, you're just being overcritical. You know, you're just nitpicking and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, like, no, you don't understand. Oh yeah, but it's art. You can't criticize art. It's all subjective. It's all just
are they the normies?
Yes, well, no, these are just these are just overzealous Disney defenders. And you know, and I'm sort of criticizing The Last Jedi and saying, like, this doesn't work, this doesn't make sense. For God's sake, you know, you can't continue the movie on after a massive blunder like that and pretend it didn't happen.
And they're all Last Jedi.
Yeah, and it does. And they're all saying
it does.
And they're all saying, trying to defend it by saying, oh, you know, it's art. It's art. You can get away with anything with art. It doesn't matter. There's no wrong in art.
There is, though.
Exactly. It's like, the thing is, right, yes, it is art, but it's also storytelling, and storytelling has rules. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. Otherwise you might as well, it might as well just be a 2-hour long Monty Python sketch, you know. And we all know that Star Wars has a standard that you have to live up to. It's always made sense. That's why it's lasted for 40 odd years. You try and explain all this stuff to these idiots, they have no idea. All they just come back with is, oh, you're just nitpicking. Oh, you're just trying to make sense where there shouldn't be any sense.
That sounds a lot like people that are Doctor Who, you know, Doctor Who fans. It's like, well, you know, you've just fundamentally changed everything to the point where nothing matters anymore. You know,
you know what it is,
dumbed down.
But you know what it is?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Do you know what it is, guys? Is that they don't understand, and listen to me very carefully, the language of the thing, wherever the thing is. So the language of Star Wars has a language. If you do not understand the language of Star Wars, then of course you're going to say everything's okay. And with Matt 1 as well, Doctor Who's a prime example like that. The makers that's made this new Doctor Who, they don't understand the language and the tone of Doctor Who. That's why they're going left and right and upside down, sideways, because they don't know. They just don't know.
I'll just say in the chat, Undercover Trooper, hello, my friend. You can't get away with removing Finn from art.
Oh God, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, we discussed that a couple of. Yep.
Does that go to China?
Yeah,
China.
Okay.
Yes, China.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But it's you know, we you know what, both Matts, we are blessed because we understand the tone of different genres. We understand the tone. We can see what's wrong with stuff. Normies don't, normies can't see it. And God bless them if they can't see it. You know, they're very easily pleased. But people like us who are creatives, we can see it, you know, and we should be thankful for that, you know.
I was listening to the Dan's podcast earlier on this afternoon with you guys on it, and I was just nodding away. You know, when you were saying about, like, normies just don't understand; they just get on with it and they go, "Yeah, it was all right." You know, these new Star Wars movies, just, yeah, you know, whatever, it's fine. And we're sort of like going, "No, they're shit. This is why they're." And these people are going, "Yeah, but you know, it's Star Wars, isn't it? It's just like."
I had a friend who was a Doctor Who fan, and like, he gave me some stuff when he was trying to clear his house,
like passion.
that he owned of Doctor Who, and when when that whole shit from season 12 was happening,
50 minutes.
and I texted him and I said, "Look what they're doing," because I hadn't been watching it. I was only watching it from the sidelines, and I just didn't want to be involved in it anymore.
Yeah.
And he's going, "Yeah, what about it?" And I'm like, "Look what they are fucking doing."
Yeah.
I said, "Look at this shit," like Ian says, she's from friggin' bloody council world or whatever, like a council state. and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I was like, now you are fundamentally changing everything to do with Doctor Who to fit an agenda. And he's like, oh, well, we haven't seen the rest of it yet. And I said, I don't need to fucking see the rest of it. I haven't watched any of it. But I'm like, but it's like, some fans just don't see it, which is weird.
Swappers, may I ask you, what day is Star Wars Day on? May
25th.
25th. That's the official Star Wars Day, is it not?
Yes, that's the date of the original premiere at Man's Chinese Theatre in LA.
Would you come back on that day and read some of your novel?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I always enjoy
it. Is that okay?
After reading it to you guys before, I actually now quite relish the idea of doing it because I know people might appreciate it.
We will have a special guest on that day.
Is it Mr. Ruin?
He's coming back, yes.
Excellent. Well, it'd be good if I could read a bit of my story out and then get him to ruin it afterwards.
Yeah, Roundhead.
Yeah, so you heard it, folks. You heard it first here, folks.
That's a prime example, Matt.
Roundhead is back.
That's a prime example. Rian Johnson, he did not understand the tone or the language of Star Wars. He never understood the Force either.
No,
by putting all those stupid things about the Force in there, creating this.
I don't think he was ever a fucking fan.
No, he wasn't.
No,
never. No, not at all. He said he was.
Not imagine. No,
but it's the same as Michael Bay making the original those bloody Transformers movies, like however many years ago.
Oh, they just got worse.
Right, it's just the same as him being in interviews wearing a fucking Decepticon logo T-shirt.
Yeah,
and expecting everyone to go, "Oh, he loves Transformers. Oh my god, he's going to be a brilliant director." It's like, no. That's all it is. Rian Johnson. Oh yeah, I've always been a fan. Oh, no, I've always been a fan. No, you haven't. You twat. Fuck off.
Ooh. Do you know what? Right. It's obvious that he didn't understand Star Wars at all. As I said, he basically saw what George Lucas did. George Lucas copied the World War II dogfights in the sky. So what did he do? In his version, he had the dropping of the bombs, like the bouncing bomb thing, which he copied from World War II. And it was just awful. It was just stupid, because space doesn't have any gravity. So, well, do you understand that, Roundhead? Do you
and
understand
they didn't have any shields either.
No. I'm saying.
That woman,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't understand.
I just imagine the people behind the scenes when he was making all this. And he was like saying, "Right, I'm the writer, I'm the director. This is what we're going to do. Here's the story. Everybody, okay, get to work on it." And they're all sitting there around the table. All these people that have worked on the other Star Wars movies, all the people that have worked under George Lucas and actually appreciate well written stuff, or well planned out stuff, well conceived stuff. They're all sitting there looking at Rian Johnson's scrawls and scribbles and just going, "What the fuck is this?" We're looking at each other and they go, "We've got to do it. We've got to do it. He's the boss." We've got Kathleen.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Right. I'm guessing. Okay, now I'm guessing that he wrote that scene where Princess Leia does the Mary Poppins thing in space, and I'm guessing that other screenwriters who was obviously helping them, whatever, said, "No, you can't do that with the Force. That doesn't make any sense." And I'm guessing that KK, because it's a strong woman, thought, yeah, that's brilliant, let's do that, not understanding what the Force does in the previous films and how you're breaking the whole rules of the actual power itself.
They just turned it into an ex machina, didn't they? They can do everything, do anything. Yeah. It's just a filler plot hole device thing. It's like the last movie, as god awful shite as it was. It's just explanation for everything. It's just like, oh yeah, they can do this. How can they do that? How can they have a million spaceships with super guns on? How can they get back from the dead? How can this happen? How can that happen? Space voodoo. Oh,
Shall we rein it in a little bit and get back to some proper Star Wars?
Well, I was just about to sort of bring it full circle and come back around to this. What's on the screen right now?
Thank you. I was going to say this. Looking at this picture, this is the rear view of the kind of Mark 1 Millennium Falcon. You can see the bit at the front.
Which ended up being the Corellian Corvette. Yeah.
Corellian.
The multi-engine exhaust on the back of it. Yeah, it's just I've never seen this image. This is awesome. Where you got this one from? But obviously, it's just
Tumblr.
It's just a slight alteration of the previous one. But it's just I just rarely. I don't care what the image is. McQuarrie's made it, and it's like this kind of
colours as well. It's kind of like a magenta hue to the.
Yeah, that very subtle stuff like that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's nice. What more can you say? It's really nice.
Better,
Looks like
better than nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cigarettes. Sort of looks like.
It's like with a cigarette machine.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of a spaceship. I'm going to make that.
I will say the Empire Strikes Back stuff is mind blowing. So we'll try and speed through these. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just say on that last one, those gantries overhead on the ceiling in that hangar. You can sort of see they kind of move across and up and down the hangar. I've used an image like this in my book where it's on board a giant, one of those superstar destroyers from the Empire Strikes Back that's owned by a bunch of pirates, and there's an action sequence on it where some of the main characters are running across these gantries here across the top and dropping down on top of a ship. So maybe I have seen an image like this before, and it's kind of just embedded in my memory, and I'm using, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Shepperton Studios. So that's it. The studio that used to make Spy Love Me. That's what it looks like.
That was when they got burnt down.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. This is a lovely image, isn't it? This is a lovely image.
I love the clinical starkness of the environment here. It's just beautiful, isn't it? And the concept stormtroopers with the shields and lightsabers is just. Oh man, yeah.
They've got shields. Can you see them running with shields?
I love that. Yeah, I was saying to a friend of mine like years back, I wish that this was before Disney bought it. I wish they would have made a movie based on all of McQuarrie's artwork, like before it got changed.
Wow,
and
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and everything looked exactly like it does in all his, even having like maybe a kind of a soft filter on the screen to make it all look like everything's slightly airbrushed, that kind of thing. Just really go into detail on that.
They
kind
can
of
do
look.
it now, can't they? They can
do
it now.
They can. And but just like rewriting the story back to Lucas's original ideas, but obviously brushing it up to make it a bit better, but just changing it just enough to make it different to what we got in the actual original trilogy, but then making it look exactly visually like McQuarrie's concept artwork. So we get like live action moving versions of everything we saw on the page here. It'd be utterly just astounding, wouldn't it? Even though we've seen Star Wars before, we know how the story goes, etc., we'd all be glued to it and we'd absolutely love it and lap up every second of it as well.
But this image, right? It makes me sad because the potential that Finn had as a stormtrooper who had the Force
with a shield.
Well, this just makes me think about Finn's character and how they wasted it. He basically the Force Awakens. The Force Awakens within Finn. I think that was the main. I think looking at it now, looking back, I think that was JJ's idea to put Finn front center of Star Wars, and it's a shame that it was derailed because that's a really good idea. Imagine. It's like World War II with the bad guys. One of the bad guys suddenly realized he was working for the wrong side. There was plenty of them in World War II, and it's the same thing with the Finn character as well.
Everybody bought into it. I did.
Yeah, so did I, and I thought, and it's a shame that
totally
they
bought
didn't,
into it
because that would have been great for the whole thing about him.
But not for China.
I want to bring this up, but in the Bad Batch, like in that new series. They have the idea of because they want to get rid of the clone troopers, they're too much of a liability. They want to introduce conscription. So you would think that there would be officers in that didn't want to be in the Empire. And the thing is, though, when you look at those
cartoon,
I've seen the cartoon. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so like,
sorry, Matt.
No, that's all right. It's just a matter of that they have to, they have to do this job now, and a lot of them just don't want to do it. But the thing is, though, they never ever put that in the original trilogy. That the fact was that they obviously they're all evil people. They all wanted to, and so. Yeah, it's an odd one now.
It's like in The Mandalorian, which was really clever about The Mandalorian when Bill Burr was in it, and he was sitting down talking to that guy, obviously from the Empire, and he was talking about how many people he killed, and obviously Bill Burr's character used to work for their side, and as he talked about the people that he killed, he got really angry, and just goes to show that in this Star Wars universe now we can see that some of the stormtroopers or some of the people that was in the Empire disagreed with what they were doing, and that's a good little thing to have in the Star Wars universe. Not everyone's perfect. Do you know what I mean? And as Matt says, in the original Star Wars, everybody was evil. Even the stormtroopers. But it's nice to think that not all of them were, if you know what I mean. So.
Just quickly going back to the Bill Burr canteen scene. Can you imagine just how good Star Wars would be without interference? Because with that, I can.
Yeah. Well, there's 100 billion ideas where to take Star Wars, and we've seen a lot of the great ideas. Splinters of the Minds. I remember reading that as a kid. That was a great novel. They could have gone so many different ways with the new Star Wars, but they didn't, and they actually destroyed something that was close to millions and millions of people's hearts, and and they're denying it. So
they're in denial.
What can you say? Yeah. What can you say?
Here we go. Next picture looks like a TIE fighter pilot.
Yeah. God, it's really nice. Yeah.
As good as that.
They must.
What do you reckon? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
They must.
You can't get any better than that.
I hope they've got good deodorant, because dressed up like that,
I would imagine it gets a bit smelly in the helmet.
Really, yeah.
You're just telling you his shit. He knew his shit.
Yeah. It's a good paint. It evokes a lot of imagination, doesn't it? When you look at that painting. What was that? When I was a kid, and the school used to take you to a library, and they used to say, right, go and read a book. I always gravitated towards, the novels. I never used to read the book. I used to like the covers, looking at the science fiction covers, and sometimes they'll have a shot like this, and your imagination would run wild, when you see a picture like this. But yeah, it's a really nice painting.
MC in the chat, new Star Wars would have been so much better without studio meddling. Cockney
That's
Spot
debatable.
Says
that goes with a lot of things.
There is a deleted
Although I wish
scene
they meddled
Jedi.
with Last Jedi.
Yeah.
There's a deleted scene in Jedi where an Imperial officer speaks out against blowing up Endor with his troops on it.
Oh, okay.
Did not know.
Did not know that either. Did not know that.
It didn't end up in the finished film, so it's not canon.
Yeah. So we saw this one yesterday, the trench run.
Really good picture. Really good picture. Scope.
Very good compositional. It's just a very good composition. Full stop.
Yeah. I hope he stays on target.
Yeah, with perspective lines going off at the corners and stuff. It's really good.
Yeah.
Swap shop.
This was, I think I had this image or something like it on some wallpaper when I was like 5-6 years old in my room. I just I vaguely remember it from being on something that, when you got those really sort of foggy memories from when you're really young and you can't quite remember where you saw things. It's from way back then. I think it was when I first originally saw this. And again, it's just it's used in the final movie. This is a much sort of more simplified, cleaner looking version of what we got on screen, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's the JJ version of the X-Wing.
Oh, the basically his rip-off version.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, he's got the pick of a lot of people, JJ, and why he decided to go back to Ralph McQuarrie stuff and rip him off when he has hundreds of people working for him. I have no clue why he would do that,
Yeah.
But anyway.
Because it's lazy and you can bang stuff out quickly.
That's J.J. Abrams, though, isn't it?
Well,
he still had Doug Chang on there too, didn't he? Swap Shop.
Yeah, Doug Chang's worked on the prequels, and he was used in all the Disney tragedy as well.
Yeah.
But I think he was just he was working under George Lucas originally, and Lucas is a visionary, so he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants to see on screen. J.J. Abrams doesn't. He just looked at the images that Chang was coming out with and going, yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
This is from Return of the Jedi, isn't it? This picture's from Return of the Jedi.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Because you got Lando in the background, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't
Max
see him.
Rebo.
I thought that was the Cantina Scene. I do apologise.
Yeah, the Cantina Scene is with the aliens, the ball-headed aliens, the three aliens.
The blue elephants, Max Rebo.
In the chat, Undercover Trooper says, last 10 minutes of The Mandalorian united most of the fan base, and the scumbags couldn't even give us a week to enjoy it.
Well, you know what, right? I did like the ending. I didn't cry and all that shit, what other people did, but I was a bit disappointed with the effects of Luke Skywalker's face. I believe they could have done it better. But,
100%.
The deep fake stuff was better. Did you see that on YouTube?
Yeah, it was slightly better, but it was better. Yes.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, Mark Hamill must have signed off on that too. He must have gone, "Oh yeah, I look like that." It's like, no, you don't.
Well, didn't they sneak it in under the radar though?
I don't know. Do you know what they should do? They should have a Luke Skywalker TV series after Return of the Jedi and before all the crappy ones.
You know when they did Peter Cushing in Rogue One? Yeah. You know when they did that? They actually redid it again for the Blu-ray release.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, apparently they reckon that they could perfect it a bit better once
did it look
Blu-ray
good?
Came out. Well, he still looked like he was like, like fake. It looked like, I don't know if you've seen, but there's like a chicken ad in America where they got this guy, they resurrected this guy, and it looks so out of place with the rest of, it wasn't the Colonel.
The layout one was awful.
Yeah,
but they have done some good ones, like the Galaxy advert with Audrey Hepburn. That was an amazing advert. It was actually like she was there. Do you know what I mean?
Still a bit creepy, but yeah,
it was a bit. You're right. It was a bit creepy, but it was still well done, though. Very well done. But it's a long. I don't know if you remember the. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you Swap Shop. I don't know if you remember the adverts with Griff Rhys-Jones. It was some bear advert where they would cut him into black and white movies. Do you remember those adverts?
Yeah. Vaguely does ring a bell. What were they advertising?
Yeah, some bear advert. But I mean, it's come a long way, hasn't it, since then?
Oh, sure. Back then, it was kind of editing in clever angles, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, recreating the set. Yeah.
Now it's all it's deep fakes now. You can pretty much do anything, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
MC in the chat says the Steve McQueen Ford advert was good.
It was. That was very well done. And does everybody remember the first time that advert showed a Transformer? That's where it all started. There was an advert where this car turned into Transformers, started dancing. And then I guess they realized they could do Transformers on screen now once that advert came out. Do you remember that advert? I don't know if it went around the world. Yeah. But very well done. It all started from there.
Okay, I think we'll try crashing through these now because we're taking a lot longer.
It's a really good. That's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, so I think we're going on to the Empire now. So this is obviously the base.
That's George Lucas right there. Can you see him in his coat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does look amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really good concept art, and when you watch the movie, you can see where all of it comes from, can't you? It really is great stuff. And I think Anthony Daniels was very. That's a matte painting. That's definitely a matte painting.
Yep, you're right.
Oh
You're
yeah,
right,
it's
that
got
is.
yeah.
That's where so I mean, the old days they used to paint it on glass, and then they used to project
got the black area.
Yeah, project the shot from projector onto a screen, and then they used to film that. Very well done. But yeah, love that shot. Love it. Love
Cloud
it
City.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Fantastic.
I love it when Star Wars used to show us things we'd never seen before in life.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you remember, right? Every film had something that was never seen before. Empire Strikes Back had the walkers. That was never done before. And then in the third one, it had the flying things through the forest. I can't remember what were they called?
Speeder bikes.
Bikes. And that was when you saw that trailer and you saw that in the trailer, you were like, I've got to see this film.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Everything was just groundbreaking.
Yeah. But that was George Lucas's.
Look at that.
Very good at doing that, George. Yeah.
Look at that. That is lovely.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
I always wanted to live on Hoth. I really did. I didn't care about how cold it was going to be. I used to love snow as a kid, and Hoth just looked like the most amazing place. It really did.
Pretty dangerous with all those wampers, though.
Yeah. How many times did you say the lines from Star Wars when it snowed? Swap shop. Running out in the snow going, saying things like, I thought it smelt bad from the outside, or stuff like that. When I was a kid, I used to do that every time it snowed. We'd run out, do some lines from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. I used to just get my hat out in the garden. It was great. And the snow thing.
Yeah.
Rob in the chat says Cloud City is my favourite piece from the portfolio.
Yeah.
It does look amazing.
I think the Walker's attack has been voted the best special effects ever. I can't remember what magazine did it. I think it might be the SF magazine did it. Yeah. But,
I had a quick look at that tonight. It is very good.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And just to think, it was all stop motion. And it's amazing. Even today, when you look at it.
Tippett was it Phil Tippett?
Go motion. It was a new thing called go motion, which actually they tried to blur every shot when something was moving, because Ray Harryhausen didn't blur his. Basically, he just moved it frame by frame, so it just looked a bit jerky. But I think Phil Tippett and somebody else created go motion. Yeah.
I do like the jerky motion.
Oh, do you?
We've heard that rumor. Yes.
Yeah, no, I do, because it's like it just
not on the channel
that realistic, just gives that more like not realistic, but like just gives you that it actually is a real thing rather than something like like CGI or whatever. I just it's something tangible to me anyway.
Yeah, it's real models on screen. It actually existed.
Yeah,
and not only that, when it's used with things like the walkers and robots and things like that, it kind of adds something to it, because you can sort of see why they would move in that almost jerky way as well. It kind of adds to it in some way.
I remember they used a forklift, because the bit where Luke goes into the snow speeder and it takes off. I remember seeing behind the scenes, they actually had a forklift that was lifting it as it was going up. I was thinking, okay. So, yeah.
I'm glad I never saw that, because then that would have been another bit of movie magic ruined for me.
Yeah. I remember that guy. You remember in Empire Strikes Back when he goes, are you ready? And he goes, yeah. I think the guy says, I feel I can take all the old Empire myself. And then Luke says, I know what you mean. You knew he was going to die. When he said that immediately, you knew he was going to die. Yeah, that was quite fun. Yeah. I did like Empire Strikes Back. I remember there was people crying around me when it came to the ending. I remember there was this girl, I didn't even know who she was, and she was sitting 2 rows away from me, and she was sobbing at the ending because Luke and everybody else lost.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the very first times that something as big as this ended in a downer. Very, very brave to do that.
Undercover Trooper says if you look
but
really
they didn't
close,
kill anyone off.
No, they didn't. Yeah, if you look closely.
In the walker scene, you can see the stick pushing the walker over.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. And that wasn't.
Not know.
No, that wasn't a stop motion. That was shot in slow motion, so that to add the weight to the thing falling.
Yeah.
But you can see it. You can see the leg being pushed up, and it falls. Yeah.
Swap Shop. Do you like that picture on screen? I think it's a good one.
Oh, it's gorgeous. The concept snow speeders.
Everything you want there.
Yeah, I just love the color of it. And the concept snow speeders, actually, they came out with a toy of that in the 90s. But there was like a line of McQuarrie Concept stuff. There was a concept cloud car and all this other stuff. And this was one of the concepts that came out. And I remember seeing this like years and years and years before it was the resurgence of the 90s. And thinking, wow, look, they've actually released a toy based on that old image I saw from some magazine years ago, and I had to go and buy it. It was such a great toy to have, and it just brings it all back, seeing
still
it again.
Got it?
Yeah.
Have you still got it?
Sadly, no. I sold it along with a lot of Star Wars stuff. Yeah.
But the three films, in my opinion, Empire Strikes Back was the best lit out of the three. The photography in Empire Strikes Back was absolutely amazing. You can see everything was so clear, and
you can see the extra money.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it cost more than Star Wars, but it was an incredible. The photography is absolutely brilliant as far as I was concerned in Empire Strikes Back. And when it was digitized and it ended up on Blu-ray, it looked even better. It's the same thing with Star Trek 3, which is my favorite Star Trek movie. When you look at Star Trek 3 on Blu-ray, it looks absolutely fantastic. More so than when you go to see it in the cinema.
I was surprised by Star Trek, the motion picture on Blu-ray. I was like, this actually looks like it was only just shot.
Yeah, They cleaned it up and same thing at Empire. They cleaned that up incredibly well. And I think they fixed all the blue spill, because they used to use blue screen in those days when the storm, the things were flying. So they cleaned all that up as well. But they never touched the walkers, which is great. They didn't use CGI to replace the walkers. They honored what they did for the original film, which is quite cool in my opinion.
Swap Shop sent me the updated kind of mega version of Empire, and I watched a little bit tonight. It is good.
Empire Strikes Back's a fantastic film.
When you're going through it, you'll notice so many little bits here and there.
It's brilliant.
You've never seen before, and they work so well. Brilliant. They work brilliantly. Yeah.
If you get the chance, send me that as well, because I'd love to see it.
I did one time, but I'll send it again. Yeah.
You sent me Star Wars, mate.
I didn't send you the other one. I thought I did.
No, you didn't send me the other one.
Is there an Return of the Jedi version?
No, they're working on it currently. They're working on it at the moment.
Right. Okay, that's why I've not got it then. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Matt Potts would be happy if they had more teddy bears in it. Isn't that right?
Yeah. No, look, I love the Ewoks. I'm sorry.
Chimpanzees.
I went to the movies and saw the Ewok Adventure. And...
Oh, you did, yeah. Yeah, I did as well, actually.
And then I went and saw the sequel, and they killed everybody off. It was like, what was the point of that?
But wasn't who's the guy that played Wicket?
Mike Davis.
Little guy.
I was going to say he made a career of it.
He was so lucky, because there's loads of pictures now that surface with him and Carrie Fisher. And he was like, was he 12 or something like that?
12.
Or 13?
Yeah.
And he's sitting on her lap and stuff like that. Lucky boy.
Yeah.
Undercover Trooper says real film stock always looks better on Blu-ray than
they do. Yes, absolutely right.
And MC says, and me, Swap Shop, please.
That's a terrific image as well. That's when the rebel ships go in and had to fire so that it would get past
stop
the
motion
force field.
too, wasn't it?
It looked like stop motion, Matt, and I probably was, and it did look like stop motion. But
it's when it pulls back and shoots.
Yeah,
because it wasn't static when it shot.
Yeah,
which they would have done back in the old days. But
lot of British stars in that scene. We had what's his name, Glover, who was what's his name? I can't remember his first name.
Some of them were badly dubbed too, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
There was a guy. There was a guy actually I saw, and he had
Chloe Cruel.
He was in another movie called what was it called? Screamers. And I'm like, that's the guy from Empire Strikes Back in the Hoth scene.
Julian.
And then I was like, but like they changed they changed he was the second in command to Leia.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was dubbed. You could tell he was dubbed, but they didn't dub him in this other one. So yeah, It was a bit weird.
Julian Glover was the guy.
At.
Yeah, Julian was in Star Wars. He was in Raiders. No, he wasn't here. What's that last
Crusade?
Last Crusade. He was in Doctor Who. He was in James Bond. Yeah, he did the rounds, mate.
Space 1999 as well.
1999,
he was in Game of Thrones.
Yes, absolutely. He's such a great actor. Well, was.
Yeah.
I think he's dead, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. No, he is. He's still alive.
Still alive. Really good actor.
Just.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'd love to meet him one day if he, he's such a great actor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No. Really good.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams used the text on the sides of the stormtroopers' helmets here on the helmets for the snowtroopers in the Force Awakens. Not that you see them that much, but they're all there in one particular scene when Hux is given that massive address to the troops.
Yeah, what was the point of Hux? What was the point of it?
They just wanted a new Governor Tarkin, didn't they?
It's just rubbish, anyway.
Yeah, but he ended up being a turncoat anyway, and that was only over jealousy.
Yeah,
and they didn't know what to fucking do with him.
No, just seriously.
He was a fucking pissy wimp.
Who's that guy? That British guy in the last one? He's very famous. He was with nail art. Yeah, he was on Twitter going on how great
Dream Job.
Film
he was crying. He was crying. Ian.
Because
he's going, "Oh, what a beautiful film! Oh, I'm so proud."
What a load of rubbish.
Because Abrams knew that he wanted to star in a film because he met him many years before, and the story is he got a phone call out of nowhere saying, "Do you want to be in the next Star Wars film?"
He did that with all his friends, though.
Undercover
even that
Trooper,
fat guy from Lost.
Yeah,
Undercover Trooper says, "Do you think Star Wars started the trend of baddies having British accents in Hollywood films?"
No, it was Die Hard that started it. Die Hard was the film that got noticed with the British villain.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. Yeah.
Die Hard, definitely Die Hard.
Bridge on the River Kwai.
Even though it was supposed to be German.
Yes, but it was because I can't remember the name. Who's the actor's name in Die Hard? The villain.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. He'd never done. As far as I know,
Gruber.
He never did a film before he was stage. He did a lot of stuff on stage.
Thor's hammer, I shall avenge thee.
Yeah.
Great in Galaxy Quest.
Yes, he was. He's,
we should cover that sometime.
Galaxy Quest.
Such a great film.
When I think of Galaxy Quest, I think of Sigourney Weaver. I just love her.
Oh, yes.
She's
I didn't even know she had cleavage until that.
Until that film. Yeah, definitely.
Well, she does, man.
Yeah.
And I would never have put her as a blonde bombshell. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, but she does look good, nice as a blonde.
Oh yeah. Still
Definitely.
good casting.
22 years ago that was. Can you believe it?
Jeez.
Yeah, that was one of DreamWorks' first pictures.
Completely flopped at the box office.
A lot of DreamWorks movies did, except for Shrek. Shrek was the only
such a fucking good movie that is.
A lot of people were saying, "What's the point of the walkers? Because why would you need it to walk on snow? You've got things that fly." And it's a fair point. It really is a fair point, isn't it? But it just looks so cool, doesn't it? It really looks cool. you know, just to see these things walk and stuff, you know. But yeah, interesting.
But they fall down very easily.
They do, but they're really strong. You can fire at the legs and it won't break. It's
yeah.
I don't know what kind of metal
are they troop carriers?
I don't know what they are, but they look like dinosaurs.
How do they get down? How do the troops get down to the floor?
It was never shown. I think there's probably some people online that have done diagrams and stuff, but I wish they had shown it. You know, one of the walkers sort of just lowering itself to the ground, and then the troops all sort of bailing out. I think that would have been great.
I think those tauntauns don't really work.
No.
Well, yeah,
those ones there.
You know, it's
not lizards anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting what George Lucas decided to correct when he went back to Empire Strikes Back. He didn't correct the Tauntauns. You would have thought that he would have done a CGI of the Tauntauns, you know, because they look very, very, very modelish, don't they? Especially when Harrison Ford's on the back and everything.
Phil Tippett.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You'd think that he would correct it, but he didn't correct it, did they? So, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. I love this picture. This picture is so cool.
My God, that's incredible.
Yeah,
that is very good.
This is like the trenches in World War One, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Must have been inspired by that.
Again, great sort of inspiration from actual real world wars.
In fact, if the technology allows, look at that, folks.
I remember watching the making of Empire Strikes Back, and you had the second unit guy. He had a cigarette in his mouth going, "You use the guns like this, right? You pull back, you pull back. That's how it works, all right, carry on." It was British.
Didn't the Norway scenes run over budget, or basically the money was just...
And George Lucas had to remortgage his house just to finish the film, apparently.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. It didn't make as much as Star Wars, but it did make enough to make a third one, and it was a huge success. Even though a lot of people complained that they didn't like the ending, but I loved the ending. I was like, I can't wait to see what happens next.
I think
it would have really sucked if they didn't make a third one.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Robert Meyer Burnett said at one of his local cinemas in the States that Empire ran for over a year.
Yeah,
it was that popular.
Do you know they brought it back into cinemas? Yeah, because people demanded
not
it.
Not here at all. No.
You know, in on the lockdown, they opened a few cinemas when lockdown first started over here, and they were showing Empire Strikes Back. Me, Keith, and my friend Alan, we went to see it. When in the cinema, we were the only ones. Yeah, and we're the only ones that were in the cinema, and we watched Empire Strikes Back again. You know what? It still stands up today, on the big screen in Dolby, Atmos. Yeah. It's still an amazing film. You can't. Look, you can fault it because no film was perfect. But I was just a little kid when I was watching that again. I was just a little kid. Yeah. It's still just an amazing film. It's a really great movie.
It's a good film.
It still is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Sisterphobe says Empire was the first film I watched where the good guys all lost.
Yeah.
It wasn't the end of the rebellion. It wasn't the end of the good guys' forces, though.
It's just the beginning, mate.
Yeah, it was just kind of like we haven't lost the war. You know?
It wasn't like Last Jedi, which pretty much was a fucking final nail in the coffin, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you can't fucking go from here. That's it. That's the end.
Yeah.
See, they're all fucking dead. All the people we care about. You know.
I loved the end of Empire because it wasn't a no hope situation.
Yeah.
You were, even though it was a downer, you were still thinking, oh, but this could still happen, and that could still happen, and this could come back, and what about all those other things that wow, there's possibilities for the next movie. They really set up a great third movie.
Yeah, but the question that was on everyone's mind was Darth Vader lying. That was what I took away from the film. I was thinking Darth Vader's got to be lying. He's got to be lying.
Was he telling the truth? Yeah, that's right. There's a big, and it finally got confirmed in the third movie, and everyone's kind of like, well, guess that's it then.
Yeah.
Vader, Dutch for father. It was there all along, peeps.
That's great.
But I said I loved Empire Strikes Back. Empire, the sets, and I remember watching was it Screen Test? They used to have a show called Screen Test on BBC One for the kids. Right. I remember seeing the clip the very first clip I ever saw from Empire is when Luke was running through the corridor of Cloud City, and he sees Han Solo being pushed by them, and he starts firing at them, and Luke's Princess Leia's going, "It's a trap! It's a trap, Luke!" You know, that bit. And when I saw that clip, I was like, "I've got to see this film."
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Just from a tiny little clip like that can completely convince you, completely sell you, because you were looking through a window into an alien universe. With humans running around, obviously, but it was an alien universe, and it looked so convincing. The Disney ones, just no, who cares? Who gives a fuck? You know, the originals, you just look in and you want to be there. You want to be part of it. You want to be in there with them.
I just like to say, right, that listen to the passion from our voices, right? Listen to listen to Matt, listen to Matt's passion. Listen to Swap Shop's passion. When you listen to Kathleen Kennedy talk, and when you listen to Roundhead talk, you don't get any of that from them.
Fade in.
They just don't know what Star Wars is all about, and that's where the problem started, in my opinion.
In the chat, Undercover Trooper is having his mic drop moment. 50 years plus, and we're still discussing Star Wars. No one cares about Disney garbage. Drop the mic.
All the Disney garbage did is make us appreciate George Lucas's creations all the more.
Even the prequels we appreciate now.
Cockney Spock in the chat. Hello, my friend. Good work, panel. Your passion for real Star Wars definitely shines through. It does. I cannot disagree. And then Rob says, Marblehead Johnson.
Like that.
It's a shame. It's such a shame. They lost billions. If only they did what was right for this franchise, they would have been rolling in it, and we would have been happy.
If they'd have taken their time, got the film out maybe a year or two after Force Awakens, got it right, and then maybe about now would be expecting the new one to drop.
Yeah,
indeed.
It's
indeed.
It is. Every time I see this shot, it always reminds me of Luke going up it, holding onto the wire, going up the.
I saw that before I came. Yeah, great. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic scene.
Look at that.
Yeah. Do you know where the sound effect of the walker's foot when Luke is trapped? He's trying to get his lightsaber out.
Yeah.
You know where he got that sound from? Where Ben Burtt got that sound from? He got it from a clothes press.
Wow.
He was there's in the making of, you see him with the mic, and his clothes press was pressing the clothes, and that's where he got the sound. Isn't that amazing? Just a clothes press he got that sound from. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Rob in the chat, Disney should have started by planning the entire trilogy arc instead of making it up.
Yeah, I think it was their arrogance and short-sightedness, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was Kathleen Kennedy wanted to shove all this stupid stuff in. You know, they did have a plan, but it was scuppered by her.
Yeah, well,
people had plans.
PCAT says they not only don't know Star Wars. They not only don't know what Star Wars is about. They don't know what Star Wars is about. They don't care to try and understand what it's about and what the fans want. I kind of messed up a bit, but I think we get the gist.
It's that analogy I always use. It's Rob Lowe's character in Wayne's World.
Yeah, definitely.
Undercover Trooper Star Wars merchandise made George a billionaire. Stocking Disney trash killed Toys R Us. It did.
It did.
That's where the Star Wars movies made their money, is off the merchandise. You know, that's why. And Lucas used that money and put it back into his business.
He did.
Like a true businessman. Everyone kind of derided Star Wars and Lucas for being this big sort of a merchandise machine and being all about toys and all about shifting, memorabilia. But he did it, but he did it for a reason, and it was a good reason. He bolstered his own business and other sub-businesses as well. And he was a very clever guy to do all of that. But people just saw couldn't see beyond the end of their noses and just thought, oh, he's just trying to sell toys. Idiot, And because the toys are now to this day still revered as being some of the greatest things ever put into plastic molds. people, the prices they go for is ridiculous because they're so beloved and so sought after and so highly regarded because of the movies, because they were so greatly written characters, because the scenarios are so great, because the images on screen were so great. Everyone wanted to own a piece of it. No one wants to own a piece of this Disney shit. No one gives a fuck. That's why Toys R Us went under. They were forced to buy all these toys that just weren't going to sell because no one gave a toss about any of them.
I would say I think we kind of got the brunt end of it as fans, but Toys R Us really did get the brunt end of it. So
they did.
Yeah.
Shame, really, because Toys R Us were a really
an institution.
Good,
it's an institution.
Yes. Yeah, it's a shame.
Ooh.
So listen, it's all because of this one woman. The reason why all of this happened. And when I use the word evil, I don't use it lightly. I'm sorry, but I think what she did was evil because, as I said, millions of people around the world love Star Wars, and she just destroyed it out of some stupid idea that we would accept this stupid feminine agenda crap.
And thousands of people lost their jobs at Toys R Us.
Exactly. So, I mean, when you look at the breadth of what she's actually achieved, it is quite something when you think about it.
Swap Shop, what do you reckon to that? Even I know that's a good one.
Brilliant.
What, the image?
Yeah.
It's, just, again, isn't it? It's another concept version of the AT-AT in the background. But this evokes War of the Worlds, doesn't it? I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds album in the 70s.
Yep.
But I got exposed to that when I was about 3 years old, and it warped my brain.
Same here.
It scared the living shite out of me, right? And it did its job. It was amazingly atmospheric, incredibly well written, and the artwork in the book that came with it was horrific, but amazingly well rendered and just beautiful. And it took you away to a completely different world, that kind of didn't exist, this kind of alternate past and whatever. Incredibly well rendered, and it was the images that sold the story that you were listening to in the audio. And those images are kind of, this image right here just reminds me of so much of that booklet that came with the
I've still got it. I've still got it. Yeah, I've got the vinyl as well.
Yeah, I think we've got the original vinyl kicking around somewhere.
I like the picture. The picture that actually makes me squirm a bit was when I was a kid. I really thought was horrible. Was was it the pigeons pecking at the? Just scares me.
Not only that, but also in that same image, the look into the distance of like the red sky and the red weed. It's so atmospheric, isn't it? And you just feel really kind of like it's a hopeless kind of world that you're in, and this horrible things happening, and all these dead people everywhere. And
you do realize that you can make War of the Worlds because it's copyright free. So anyone can make War of the Worlds. Same thing with Sherlock Holmes. That's the reason why Americans did their version and the British people did their version, because it's copyright free. Because so many years, because they used to have this rule where so many years passed on a copyright thing, and then basically anyone can use it. But Disney changed the rules on that because with Mickey Mouse, copyright free came up.
Well, it's a funny thing too, because you can't talk about monsters and that sort of thing, like Frankenstein and Dracula and that are royalty free, but you can't use the Invisible Man or Fu Manchu or anything like that. Isn't that an empty
box? Isn't the Invisible Man an empty box?
No, you can't use the characters from the Invisible Man. You can have an Invisible Man, but you can't use the characters, the character names and all that. So,
Undercover Troop. Gone, sorry.
Thank you very much, Swap Shop.
You're welcome,
Undercover Trooper in the chat says, how do you think Mattel felt about the pulling of Cara? I assume that's an auto. It says caravan.
That's what it's meant to be, yeah.
Damn you, auto spell.
But you know what, right? As I said, it's just one woman that's causing all of these problems. And do you know what, right?
What a woman.
Karma is a bitch. One day,
literally,
she will see what she's done. It's the same thing with Chibnall. History's not going to be kind to Chibnall or KK. And they should be aware of that. They still got a chance to turn it around, But if they don't want
They
to
ain't
turn
gonna
it
do it,
around,
though.
be prepared to be shitted upon in the future. Do you know what I mean?
MC in the chat, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds gatefold sleeve, amazing art it is. There's been a rumor of an animated version.
No, they need to make a live action version of that and have Jeff Wayne do the music.
Yes, absolutely.
What they
He
need
took
to
it
do.
on tour, didn't he? That
He did,
Yeah.
and I saw it, and it was
it good?
brilliant. Yes, absolutely. They had a huge tripod.
He's getting excited.
In some shots.
Was
these
that
things
the
I live
Liam
for,
Neeson
man.
version?
Ian,
The Liam
we
Neeson
know
version.
you do, my friend, and it's
Yes, it
a
was.
pleasure to hear you getting juiced up, as it were.
I love all this stuff. This is the stuff that I live for. You know, yeah. You can't go. I can't be a normie, right? Because I'm not born to be a normie. It's not in my nature.
Yeah.
You know, this stuff. I mean, same thing with the two Matts as well. We love stuff like this, and the people are just screwing up now. They're just trying to take it away from us, which is really sad.
They don't care about it. They want to ruin it because they get a kick out of knowing that the people that love it are pissed off with what they've done.
Oh, love this. That's lovely. What a lovely picture.
This is Empire, where he's in the chamber, isn't it?
Yeah,
tank.
But we've got the guy from.
I need one of those.
Isn't that the guy, Mr. No, it's not Mr. Pizer. Who's the guy in the black hole? The captain. He looks like the guy from the black hole, the one on the left. I'm assuming that's meant to be Han Solo, right?
Could be, yeah.
But he looks like the guy from the black hole.
Yeah,
who's the captain?
and that's Leia behind. That's Leia. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I've got a craving for Lucasade now.
Cruel Birab in the chat says,
I do too.
It's a good film. It scared me shit.
On Blu-ray. On Blu-ray looks amazing.
Did not like it. I did not like it because I thought it was a portrayal to the real what happened in the novel, and it was set in England, and it was it was in the 19th century, and the Americans just took it and made it very American, and just didn't like it at all.
Not for the purists, then.
No, it should have always been Edwardian.
Well, I mean, they did do that version where they had it set in the 18th century, and it was shit because they fucked with it as well.
Cruise.
Is that the BBC version you're talking about?
Yeah.
Shite.
That was.
What about the Cruise version?
It started off well.
Yeah.
Went woke though, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Very quickly.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Did you like the Spielberg Cruise version?
No. I thought it was well directed, and I like Spielberg, but unfortunately, if I met Spielberg, I would tell him off for that.
You know what? You know what? I've always got, every time I think about that film, I think about Tom Cruise coming out of that little alien anus. You've seen that? I'm like, he's going through an anus. It's weird.
But the thing is, though, Spielberg should be ashamed of himself. He should have, as Swap Shop said, he should have said it in the 19th century and Edwardian. He should have been true to the novel.
Yeah.
You know why on earth would you do a modern day version of War of the Worlds? It makes no, and it didn't come from space. It came from underground in that version. Ridiculous. And you're like, what? Do you know what I mean? So
I was annoyed.
No, they landed, but
years ago.
They
well, yes, kind of planted. Yeah, I was annoyed because we never got to see what was over the bridge of that hill.
Oh yeah,
they just held back.
Like, come on, I want to. Come on.
Yeah, it was like, why are you showing us the bloody action?
Yeah, we never got to see what was over that hill.
But the thing is, though, with the Jeff Wayne version, you hear the words like "and the lid fell off," and your imagination goes wild.
Yeah,
the thing turning slowly, and then it falls off this huge thing. You got nothing like that in the Spielberg version. All it was Tom Cruise running, Tom Cruise after his family, Tom Cruise avoiding this. It wasn't War of the Worlds.
I would have loved to have seen a Harryhausen version of War of the Worlds. They did some test footage, but the alien looked really cute. Have you seen it, Ian? Have you seen it?
No,
you need to look it on YouTube. It's hilarious. It's the scene where the alien dies and he comes out of the ship, and it's the most cutest little thing. He looks like that one out of Mac and Me. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Yeah,
no.
seriously. He looks like Mac. He looks like that Mac and me. He does. He looks hilarious. He's got little puffy cheeks and everything.
Cruel in the chat says, "Did anybody watch the '80s TV show?"
I saw a few episodes.
Vaguely remember it
because it was a sequel to the 50s movie.
That one.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I couldn't get on with
Yes,
it.
it is.
It was
It
a
is a
cheap
sequel.
version because it was like all the aliens were just humans. They're just hiding inside human
Yeah,
bodies.
exactly.
Oh, gee, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, it does a
Battlestar
bit.
Galactica.
But you know,
Sorry.
you remember tripods?
I'm just having a go.
Yeah, I remember tripods.
Yes.
The BBC tripods. Those effects were quite good for the time.
They were, and I quite enjoyed it because it was creepy and stuff. But
It was a bit creepy.
I couldn't handle every week in, week out. I just couldn't handle all the moping around in fields.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it never ended. There was another one that never finished. It never had they never finished the story.
Yeah, it got binned. There was going to be a third season, but it went.
Yes.
Yeah, so it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Going back to the pictures, Luke Vader.
Yeah, I love this picture. Obviously, in the film, it's more atmospheric. It was blue, and there was smoke everywhere, and Darth Vader looked as cool as fuck. Let's face it, he really did. He
was in his element there.
He was, yeah, man. He was, and Luke thought he stood a chance, but he didn't really stand a chance at all. Let's face it.
He
Darth
hadn't
Vader was
finished
in
his
control.
training. He hadn't finished his training.
Yeah,
and he was fucked. He knew. Well, he didn't know that. He thought.
Does anybody remember the classic line from Darth Vader? And it was shown on every TV broadcast. It was a clip before the film had been released, and it was the very famous scene where Luke confronts Darth Vader, and he says, "Anybody? No one remembers."
Does the chat remember?
Which bit are you talking about again?
The bit where Darth Vader's waiting for him, and he goes up the steps.
Oh yeah,
and he confronts him, and Darth Vader says, "Nobody remembers."
God, I can't. Oh no, I can't remember exactly what he said now. Is this something like? It's not. You are not a Jedi.
Jedi yet? Yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah. Oh right. Yeah.
You are not a Jedi.
That line. Because I remember seeing that on TV and thinking, again, I've got to see this film.
Yeah.
I got to see this film. Darth Vader versus Luke. It's got to be the best battle.
Undercover Trooper. To be fair, I think there's some words coming in Kathleen Kennedy's direction. Kathleen Kennedy deserves the greatest praise going for managing the impossible. She made the Star Wars Holiday Special almost watchable. So watchable, I've not seen it.
No, have I? And I don't want to see anything that Kathleen Kennedy does.
I have.
Anymore.
I remember when it was first shown down here.
And
I was like, what is this really what Star Wars is? Because I hadn't seen the film, and I was like, oh, because I used to love C-3PO and R2-D2 even before I saw the films, and it was like I just remember that fucking VR scene with him having sex with a weird lady, and it was a Chewbacca. It was like what was his name? What was the name of the Chewbacca's grandfather or whatever?
Like, please! You know what? I only watched it once. That was enough for me.
Anyway, moving on from that rubbish. Swap Shop. What do you reckon to that? That's a good one.
Man, Dagobah. Yeah. God, jeez. This is this reminds me of the Empire Revisited that I've just shared with you guys.
Yeah.
How there's so many new bits added to that movie, just little bits in the background, little bits here and there that you'll notice when you watch it. And there's loads on Dagobah, and this just reminds me of those bits. But I love the way McQuarrie's got the mist here, and the giant kind of wizened trees in the background. And I know we've kind of seen that kind of thing in Return of the Jedi with the Endor forest, but this is a jungle, not a forest, and it's swampy, it's humid. It's when I was a kid, Dagobah was always very, very magical to me and mystical, and I loved it. Even though it would have been a horrible place to kind of live, I wanted to be there because it was one of those things that, God, there were so many movies and TV shows and things of the 70s and 80s that made you think that quicksand or swamps were going to be like the main enemy of your life as an adult.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
They never were, but it was one of those. This was one of those movies, and I suppose the original trilogy had an ongoing theme. In the first movie, we had the trash compactor monster.
Yeah.
In this movie, we had the monster in the swamp that tries to eat R2 and regrets it. And then the third movie, we've got the Sarlacc pit. There's this. George Lucas has got some kind of something about
To me, it always looked like they were being dumped in oatmeal.
And in the new films, we've got Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, she's the unseen kind of horrible beast underneath.
But you know what? They were really nervous because they had Yoda, and they were really nervous that the crowd will laugh when they see Yoda for the first time, because they kept referring to Yoda as the Muppet on set. So they were really everyone was nervous, but when they had the screening, everybody just warmed to him straight away. It really worked very, very well.
It did. I mean, the puppet itself's just incredible in so many ways.
Right
from its concept right up to the execution.
Frank Oz.
Yeah, you watch the original print of Empire Strikes Back now, and it still looks great. But the Empire Strikes Back revisited version, and I didn't know this until after the movie, and when I looked it up, I always don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it for people, but Yoda's face has had effects added to it, just little nuances.
Really?
Yeah, the little things that add, the way his mouth moves and things like that, make it more realistic. Because while I was watching it, thinking, oh my God, that puppet was amazing. And it was only afterwards I found out they actually added the little elements to his face to make it more realistic. And that's why I love those revisited movies, because they don't take away anything. They just enhance what was already there, They make it great. Unlike
George Lucas.
Yeah,
when he revisited his own.
Cruel in the chat says the Muppet is in charge of Lucasfilm. Lol.
Yeah,
away with your weapon. I mean you no harm. Yep.
Yeah. War's not make one great.
Yeah. I am wondering why you here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Mine. This scene is incredible. I mean, I always wanted like a swamp playset to sink my X-wing into and have
throw it in the bath.
Well, I suppose you could have done, but it wouldn't have been quite like Dagobah.
Or in the toilet.
Oh no! Oh God! No.
No, they go mouldy. They do. They go mouldy. Those toys. Believe me.
Yeah, you got to. But yeah, I think he got across the kind of the gooey sort of muddy swampiness of this world. And again, it was another place in Star Wars that we've never seen, we've never seen a dirty nature type place. We'd seen a sparse sort of like stark ice world, we'd seen the desert world, we'd seen the Death Star, and this was like, oh, this is somewhere new, this is
shot on a soundstage in, where was it,
Shepperton, I think.
Yeah, Shepperton.
Yeah, they built the stage specifically for it, didn't they? So a huge water tank in it.
And also they had it 3 foot high, so that the people that operated Yoda could be underneath.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, the thing about that planet and that design and stuff, even though it's a set, it still works within the confines of how it was done. And you know what, right? And I love the romance in this film as well, with Han and Leia, and how stubborn they both were.
I know.
But Harrison Ford. I remember went to see this film. The first time I saw this film was with my sister and my brother. I remember my sister coming out all googly-eyed, thinking Harrison Ford was the best-looking man in the entire world. I remember she was saying, "Oh, he's so handsome," blah blah blah, whatever. And us thinking Princess Leia's so fucking horny. Do you know what I mean? We don't get that in films today. It's really strange how you don't get that in films today. How you end up fancying, don't you think that's strange?
Yeah.
How we went through it, and kids today, they don't. Maybe it's because of the phone and computer games and crap like that. That's taking their imagination away. I don't know.
They're desensitized.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're desensitized.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they've got a million things occupying their thoughts all at once as well, that they can't really focus on one thing. Well, when we were kids, Star Wars was everything for that day, for that week, for that month. Everything else was just was background. And the Star Wars was just it in our minds. Even when we're at school, we're doing other things, we're playing football, we're doing whatever else. Star Wars is always like that little picture hanging over the window in our head, that we're looking out on. It's like, oh yeah, Star Wars. I'm not stopping thinking about it the whole time. You see a like a really pretty girl walk past, you go, oh yeah, she'd look really good in the Princess Leia outfit with her hair plaited.
Easy. I think we're on This is Return of the Jedi now, isn't it?
I actually know a lot of artists that actually go for the whole slave Leia thing. Just letting you know. They really go for girls that do the whole
that would never
Leia.
be allowed today, though. That scene, the slave Leia thing, would never have been allowed. And it to me, that's a really great scene in my opinion.
Fan favorite with some people.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, we weren't afraid to have women, show us their body, basically, because it was.
She worked out for that.
Yes, she did, and she looked fantastic. And why are we not allowed to celebrate stuff like that anymore? I have no idea. It's just gone crazy.
Didn't they do that whole thing with her on the beach? Like
yes, they did.
After?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
And she looked amazing.
But Harrison Ford was a naughty boy, wasn't he?
Oh God,
with Carrie Fisher.
Wasn't he always a naughty? I think he was a naughty boy with a lot of people, to be honest.
Let's face it, if we were all,
I don't blame him.
Harrison Ford, we would have done the same thing.
I've met plenty of women that go.
She was totally googly-eyed over him.
She was, yeah. I mean, she was. How old was she? 18 when she did Star Wars.
18, 19, something like that.
I mean, just a kid. Let's face it. Harrison Ford was a lot older. But yeah, naughty boy.
Dipping his sausage. Naughty boy.
Naughty boy. This is a great painting, though. I remember.
This is Return of the Jedi, yes.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi. Does anybody remember that scene?
What's with the wizard?
Oh, I don't know. He's got a long hat, hasn't he?
Just looks out of place.
Three of us
looking for it, doesn't he? But do you remember that scene in the beginning of the movie when that ship opens and Darth Vader comes out and he's confronted by, I don't know, the general or whatever, and he's saying, you're not building it fast enough, and maybe I can find new ways to motivate them, and all that scene. Have you not noticed right at the very ending when you have the scroll to the next scene, he slows down and his boot goes up and he literally freezes? Have you not noticed that? You know how I know that? Because I've watched that on VHS a billion times. A billion times. That's why I know that happens in that scene.
Yeah.
I've told you a million times, Ian, stop exaggerating.
I'll be looking out for that now when I watch that again.
You should watch it, yeah. Unless they cleaned it up on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So, but I remember seeing that on VHS. Me and my brother were killing ourselves laughing, going, why is he stopped there? But anyway. But yeah, good. Return of the Jedi was a good film. Let's face it; it was a good film.
There you go, mate.
I love
Speeder
that scene.
bikes.
That scene just made me want to see the film.
This was really everything to me. After I saw this movie, for weeks afterwards, I was still buzzing just because of the speeder bike chase.
Because it's your movie, isn't it?
Yeah, this is.
You know how they did it? Basically, they had a guy with a Steadicam on, and he walked through the forest, and then they sped up the shot.
Yeah, sped it up.
He walked 5 miles or something like that. 5 miles with the Steadicam.
Yeah, and they just overlaid the models, didn't they, onto it, and the blue screen.
The trees were in California, weren't they? If I remember,
they were. But they also had go motion effect as well, stop motion, go motion for that scene as well. When you see them turn corners and stuff, that's all models and animated. So they did that as well.
I've got a fond memory of my mum bringing home a speeder bike that they had on clearance, and I remember getting it, and it was like. And I was so in awe of it because it was the Kenner one that actually exploded. You know, there was one that was it could actually blow up. And but I always remember when I got it, I was disappointed because there was no actual like trooper in it. So and it said no action not include action figure not included. And I was like,
so did your mum use it to go to the shop and stuff? Did your mum use it to go to the shop? fly around.
No. Weird thing. It was in a supermarket, which is a weird place for it. But yeah, and she just brought it home because she said, "Oh yeah, they had these on clearance, and I don't know if you wanted it or not." And I went, "Fuck yeah!"
Cruel in the chat says, "I had the toy that blew up too."
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little button that just blew it all up.
If you ever saw the advert,
I ended up having to get the character though.
Yeah, I don't think Matt would have seen it, but the UK advertising the Speeder Bike toys it's great, but it's hilarious because they used
2 hours.
In the States. Their adverts were all using like expensive background models and trees and all this sort of stuff. In the UK, they had these like kids just holding onto the speeder bike toys, weaving around the chair, tables and legs of a dining set in someone's dining room, and they're just like flying these little speeder bikes around the legs of this dining set. And I tried doing that with my toys, and I kept smacking chairs. You can't do it. I went back and watched the advert like 20 years ago later. I went, how the bloody hell are they doing that? It's like they must have just had the legs there and no chairs above them, but just like kept the camera at a low level so the kids could actually still like move the toys through the chair legs. Yeah. It's like, you bloody bastards, you cheated me. I wanted to be able to fly my speeder bike around chair legs, and I can't fucking do it. And it should say on you can say it on the advert or on the box, like speeder bikes cannot actually fly around chair legs.
Yeah. But you know what, right? Going back to Empire Strikes Back, the one scene I love in Empire Strikes Back is the Millennium Falcon in the asteroid scene.
Yeah.
The asteroid scene's amazing, let's face it, isn't it? It's absolutely freaking amazing. Yeah. And it was all done with models and stuff. And, it was just, you could just appreciate stuff like that.
And it flew really down into the mouth of a glove puppet.
Yes, it did. It did. It did really.
Kermit the Frog.
Undercover Trooper. I saw this scene tonight before I came on when Han was about to be frozen and she shouts, "I love you." The script was that he says it back, but Harrison.
I know.
Let me say.
I love you, Carrie.
It was just kind of improvised, wasn't it? Yeah. And he probably did in real life at that point, to be fair.
He didn't want to be there, though. Harrison Ford never wanted to be there, apparently.
Yeah.
Such a knob,
if he'd have really wanted to ad lib, he would have gone, "Oh, shut up, bitch."
Terrible.
He's such a knob.
Also, look, just going back to Empire Strikes Back again, right? You know the bit where C-3PO tries to get through the door and the door shuts on him? And then they're running towards the Millennium Falcon. I was trying to figure out what Harrison Ford said to him, and somebody told me what he said. He said something like, "Golrod, you're going to be a permanent residence."
Goldenrod.
Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, Goldenrod or something.
Yeah. And I couldn't figure out what he said. I remember for years I was trying to figure out what the hell.
Come on, Goldenrod. Yeah, something like
that. Yeah, or you're going to be a permanent residence. He says that's the line.
Cool.
Yeah. I was like, how? It doesn't even sound like that's what he's saying at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. I'll go back to Return of the Jedi now.
MC says Goldenrod.
That's it. Yeah.
Well done, MC. Always coming through. Well done, mate.
Darth Vader is such a bastard, isn't he? In Return of the Jedi. Then again, he did redeem himself, didn't he?
He did. I am hoping this is Return of the Jedi. I think it is.
Yes,
I don't know.
B-Wings.
Oh yes, of course.
I got to ask a question. Was Palatoy? Was that like your Kenner? Did you?
I'm sure it was Palitoy. Yes.
Palatoy was a distributor in the UK. Yeah, they actually made some of the toys in the UK market as well. Yeah, that Kenner didn't make.
Yeah, gotcha. No, we had actual Kenner. So yeah. That's right, but that's when you were referring to Palatoy the other day, and I didn't quite understand. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Here's it's Return of the Jedi. I was a bit disappointed.
B-Wings, love B-Wings. I love B-Wings.
Star Destroyer getting nuked.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed with it, but I still enjoyed it anyway when I was in the cinema.
MC in the chat, I think he said this yesterday. Yes, it was. I lived near the old Palitoy factory.
Ooh. Should have nicked some toys.
Yeah, that's right.
Krual Bira B-Wings. That's Admiral Akbar invented.
I was
trivia,
just
mate.
wondering.
Nice
I
trivia.
reckon. I was wondering whether or not they actually used some of the toys in the actual movies, in the sequels.
I think
I'd be
they
interested
did.
to know.
I think they did. I think they used. I'm not sure.
They did it with Star Trek.
Yeah, they did in Star Trek.
When the Enterprise got blown up in number 3, that was a model kit, wasn't it?
But you know,
very good model kit.
But also the scene, there are loads of scenes where they use loads of matte shots and stuff like that, and they still hold up today, especially in Return of the Jedi. Some of the matte shots in the forest and all that. It just It's just, you know, it just gives it that real feel, if you know what I mean. So anyway. And I did like Lando in this one as well. I felt Lando really came. He wasn't
pansexual then, though, was he?
Oh fucking hell! Seriously. Seriously.
Yeah, it always.
Tosh.
Even as a kid, I remember seeing Return, and it annoyed me that they didn't destroy the. I mean, I'm glad they didn't, but they didn't destroy the Millennium Falcon, even though he turns around and he goes, "I've just got a funny feeling I'll never see it again," you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I thought, oh well, that's gonna get killed. That's gonna get blown up, you know. But
also,
it didn't, and so it felt weird. It just felt weird to.
There was a really bad blue screen effect with him and Lando talking, and there's a big matte painting behind them. It just looks awful in Return of the Jedi. I don't know if you guys remember that scene in Return of the Jedi. It just looks awful. And they just kept it in. They never fixed it. No, especially when they did retreaded it again. They never fixed it.
I'm surprised.
So am I. I was surprised when I saw it again. I was like, oh, okay, never fixed that.
I was always impressed with the model work for the Death Star on Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
it did look incredible.
You know what, right? The scene at the end in Return of the Jedi where they go into the Death Star and they flying through those those little gaps. The
amazing.
It is, and to think that was all done with remote control cameras and models.
Just incredible.
Yeah, you're really incredible. And Wedge is always complimenting people, isn't he? Wedge, good shot, Red One, and stuff like that. And he was the one that did the last shot, didn't he? Before at the thing, and he turns and they all leave the Death Star, and then it.
I got the real feels when he was in Rise of Skywalker. Not.
Oh God, please.
I was like,
Matt Pott's doing his best to kill the stream. We've been here 2 hours, 7 minutes.
That's why I said not.
No, that was it wasn't that one. It was Rogue One. He was in Rogue One. Do you remember? No clip.
No, he was in Rise of Skywalker. He came back.
He?
Yeah.
Well, I forgot that.
He was a lot older, mind you.
I forgot it. My mind just forgot it.
Yeah, there were lots of cameos. I'm sure there was. So
yeah. Admiral Akbar as well. No.
if I remember correctly, when they are doing the big space battle in front of the Death Star, some of the matting was incorrect. So I think some of the spaceships kind of disappeared or had something.
No, there's one scene in it where Alan Akbar says it's a trap, and then you have that shot where all these TIE fighters are flying towards you. Yeah, the TIE fighter goes right through the Millennium Falcon, but they corrected it. They corrected it. Yes, they corrected it.
Right.
So it's so fast you don't see it, but a lot of eagle-eye people saw it.
That one scene where literally everything's coming at you is just mind-blowing, considering
in the cinema it looked amazing. Yeah,
the amount of work gone into doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just a few buttons getting pressed.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, let's face it. They do. The people that do CGI now, they are amazing. Yeah, they are amazing. Some of the stuff they do is absolutely freaking amazing. But you know, when it comes to Star Wars, and when it comes to, as I said, Godzilla versus King Kong, I couldn't take any of that seriously because I know everything is CGI in that. So it's just hard to connect with it, you know. But Empire Strikes Back.
So what you're kind of saying is, if they had some good scripts, maybe do a Star Wars film with practical effects?
No, they don't. Look, it should be like. Remember, Commander was talking about Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park had the right way of doing it. They had practical effects on set, but they also connect them with the CGI. That's what they should be doing today.
Starship Troopers was like that too.
Yeah, they shouldn't, because it's easy to do everything via CGI. Doesn't necessarily mean to say that you should be doing it. Do you know what I mean? Because the audience won't be able to connect to it. So do as much as real as possible on set, and the stuff you can't do on set, do CGI. You know.
Undercover Trooper says asteroid scene in Return of the Jedi has a potato and a trainer in the debris field.
No, that's Empire Strikes Back. The asteroid field, isn't it?
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's not in. I don't think there's an asteroid field in Return of the Jedi at all.
I think I was aware of that potato fact, though.
I did like when Luke and Han and Princess Leia were all together on that planet. You know, because in Empire they got separated, and then they put them together in the third one, and it was really great that they were all together. And obviously, you know, Han Solo's cracking wise, and you know, and all that stuff, and it really did work. And it's a shame they didn't give us that in the new ones. But hey, such is life.
Undercover, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's Empire.
Yeah,
it's really Star Wars is something else. Thank you, George Lucas, for doing it. That's all I could say.
Agreed. Just in fact, thank everyone for being involved with it.
Yeah,
as we said yesterday, I think it was I think they all brought out the best in each other. And I think probably a lot of them didn't realize just how good they were at doing their job, and then it all just kind of came together.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I don't think they realized they were creating history at the time, but
yeah,
I mean, it's a great achievement. And you know, I don't know, mate. Listen, it changed a lot of people's lives. That's what KK doesn't realize. That it's changed a lot of people's lives.
She wants to take it off us. We're not allowed to enjoy it anymore.
Well, she hasn't taken it off us, actually, because we know the original three will always be in our hearts. They can't eradicate that from us.
Yeah.
You know, they can try and change the history of it, but people like us, we know. You know, so no matter what they do.
What do you think's going to happen with Favreau?
I hope Favreau takes over, because I actually think that Favreau wants the best for Star Wars, and I hope he takes over. And hope. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. I don't want any time travel in it. I don't want any
timey-wimey.
No. Look, I mean, it just doesn't belong in Star Wars. Time travel just doesn't belong in Star Wars. Eh?
Are you still in bed?
Yeah. I'm always in bed. I'm naked too, but I'm not going that far.
Right, that's right. Well, yeah.
No, I got my Spider-Man pajamas on. I'm good.
Excellent.
Oh, bless you.
Yes.
Oh.
I've got Stormtrooper bedsheet. So there you go.
I've got Darth Vader Jim Jams.
Oh, excellent.
the bottoms are in grey with the his face on it. Really good.
I feel left out.
Bought from Aldi.
You know that image of Luke Skywalker, the original Star Wars image of Luke Skywalker holding the pistol, holding the gun, and all these other characters behind him and everything. I've got that on a double spread bed sheet. So yeah. It's massive. The big poster.
And what about the bedspread? Is that big too?
Well, the single version only had Obi-Wan Kenobi. The double spread had Moff Tarkin in it. So they had extra room.
Here you go, boys. I think we're getting towards the end of the pictures now. So there's Jib Jab.
Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, I always wanted that toy. It was always too expensive, though. Even on discount, it was too expensive.
That is pretty much the scene we saw on The Mandalorian, isn't it?
You know, it really upset me when they had all those salacious crumbs all on spit roasts. You seen those? You seen that in The Mandalorian? What?
Yes.
Oh, it did. I was like, well, I never really saw him as like a chicken. I didn't see him like that.
It was being gritty.
Oh, yeah, right. I couldn't eat it. It's like when they tried to eat the pogs. Now I'm trying to kill the stream.
Killed.
I'm just looking at this image and I'm just checking out the detail in the background of like really incidental little characters in the far corners and the sort of rooms beyond rooms and things that are going on here.
Oh, we're keeping you up, Swap Shop. Who's that?
There's
Sorry.
no-
Who
there's no-
yawned then?
There's no... I don't know what you're talking about. So...
Moving on.
There's no I've noticed there's no trap. Oh no, that's right. It was underneath the thing, wasn't it? It was underneath his underneath Jabba, the trap.
Yeah.
To go down. Okay.
Undercover Trooper says, my computer's lagging a bit here. So many spit roast jokes and KK.
The mighty Sarlacc. Yeah.
Undercover Trooper, I'll happily take time travel if it gets rid of the Disney crimes against the universe.
No,
Yeah.
To me, it just doesn't.
And they just
belong
never
in
use it again.
Really?
Yeah, just never use it again afterwards.
MC also, well, he says, I'm in Vader Jim Jam bottoms.
But you know what, right? The best course to take with Star Wars is to basically move forward with Favreau and not refer to anything that KK has done ever again within the Star Wars universe. That's the best thing to do. And also, I would love to get Mark Hamill back and do an adventures of Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi. After Return of the Jedi, the gap between Return of the Jedi and whatever happened in the future, but not refer to the KK thing. That's what I'd love.
We've said this before. 30 years of no Star Wars, no Luke. How many billions of dollars have not been spent?
Yeah. But as I said, you know, Mark Hamill's up for it. You know, he if you went with a script right now and you said, Mark, we want to do Luke Skywalker, an older version of Luke Skywalker, and he's still, you know, he's still brave. He still has the Force. You know, he's still, you know what I mean? And
how much?
But you look, whatever you pay him, you're going to get it back like 1,000 times more because there is a real, there is a real thirst for new Luke adventures, older, wiser Luke adventures. So there's no way you can lose on that.
You know what makes me angry is the fact that I know for a fact that Mark Hamill. I do know for a fact.
He knows for a fact.
From a friend who knows a friend. Okay. So anyway, Mark Hamill loves canon, right? He loves it.
Frank Cannon,
right? No. He ended up having to do it. He was doing a Joker because he does the voice of the Joker.
Yeah, he does.
And he ended up doing the Joker for Birds of Prey, the pretty much short-lived TV series. He actually did this one line in it, and he literally blew up when it actually came out because he's like, this isn't like the comics. This is not like the comics. And he's a huge comics fan. He's a massive comics fan. And he still buys comics to this day, you know. And he was so mad that they got it all wrong. And it's like, but you didn't give a fuck about Luke Skywalker, you know. So obviously the money must have talked to him.
But no. Listen, you got it all wrong, right? This is what I suspect happened, and I can't prove it. Basically, they said to everyone from Harrison Ford to Harrison Ford to Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. They said, "Look, we're going to do Star Wars again. We want you guys involved." Had a big meeting, and it was just the germ of an idea at that point. There's that famous photograph with all of them sitting in this living room, and the older Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, and you see JJ talking to them. So the plan was set. We're going to make Star Wars. You guys are included. You're going to be handing over the torch, blah, 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 blah. They agreed before the script was even written. They signed a pencil contract, whatever. Yeah. So Mark Hamill was all for it, but they screwed him because he was locked into a contract. So they screwed him.
The thing is, like, what gets me is that he even said, "I fundamentally, do not agree with what you believe this character to be, but I'll do it anyway."
No, but he was under contract.
I know, but like, I don't know. I think in a way, some actors' integrity, they'll just walk away.
No, but
the thing is, I do not want to do this.
Yeah, but Matt, what you have to understand is once you sign that contract, because the contract includes him not bad mouthing the actual thing that he's doing. He's not allowed to say this, not allowed to say that. That's why when you see him on stage and you see those interviews with him, he was just giving you hints of how he felt. And we could all feel it, that he was disappointed with it,
Yeah, well,
that's the thing.
He wasn't the only one.
Yeah, so I have the greatest respect for Mark Hamill,
especially
Mark Hamill's amazing.
Especially when the porg shat in his mouth a swap shop.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He was fucking sucking dicks, for God's sake.
I will say we've
sea cow.
I will say,
I couldn't believe that scene.
May, we've done quite a lot of Star Wars this week. If you're into Star Wars, and I know you guys are, don't forget we've got the stream from yesterday with Ralph McQuarrie. We kind of mentioned a little Star Wars and other stuff. Don't forget we did the Ruin Johnson stream a couple of days ago, which was genuinely funny in places. So if you want to check that out, I know we're going to get Ruin Johnson, we're going to get Roundhead, the man baby himself, back on the official Star Wars day of May 25th. And I think Swap Shop is doing the competition against the Club Star Wars guy, are you not?
Yeah, I don't know when that's scheduled for yet. I'm waiting for them to let me know. But
I think we're doing it on. I think we're going to be doing it on that show, mate.
Is it on that show? Oh, okay, that solves that.
That was the old. Yeah, I thought I would get in there quickly and ask him.
Literally. I thought I might be invited on Club Star Wars, but yeah, either's good.
A lot of people follow him. I didn't realise how popular he was.
Oh yeah, very popular.
Very popular. Yeah, didn't realise that at all.
I think there's just a couple more pictures left. So I think is that the outside. I think that's the outside. Yes.
Yeah. I love that entranceway. It's great.
Is that Matt? What's Matt laughing? 9.
That's what she said. MC, is this correct? It's also Swap Shop's birthday.
Yes,
oh, wow! Happy birthday, pal!
Happy birthday.
Not today. Star Wars Day.
Okay.
You are joking.
It's on Star Wars. Yeah.
What are the odds of that? 364 to 1, I suppose.
It's why I'm so defensive over Star Wars Day being on the 25th.
Wow. Just make sure you're available.
Yeah,
see your reasoning.
Just make sure you're available.
Oh, I shall be. I can't remember what day it's on. What weekday?
Are you still painting, pal?
Pretty much done everything now. All the major stuff's done anyway.
Cool.
It's on a Tuesday. Wow.
Yes, I did look Tuesday. Yeah. Look at that.
See the space shuttle in that one.
Is that that's the Jedi battle? There's the A-wings. Yeah. Okay. home one.
What is it with putting sharp bits at the front? It's like, are they planning on ramming other ships?
yeah, maybe. I don't know. It looks like Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea. Some of those ships. Remember that ship on Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea?
The Mon Calamari cruisers were originally sort of red. Were originally buildings on the Mon Calamari homeworld, and they were like vertical structures repurposed. So they
MC. Yeah, gotcha. MC says aerodynamics
in space.
Very important.
That doesn't make any sense. Let's
No.
Well, you know, it's always good though.
This is the concept though. The actual the final ones didn't look like that.
No.
P-Cat in the chat, can't wait to hear Ruin discuss how he would have altered the perfect movie, the original Star Wars, with his incredible ideas. We shall, when he comes back in, it's just over 2 weeks now, isn't it?
Roundhead.
We will ask Roundhead.
Roundhead.
If there's a man who can come up with an answer, it's Roundhead. So yes.
We'll ask him how he would have improved the original trilogy.
Yeah. I must admit, I have listened to the stream again the other day. God, he was piss funny.
I know, every time.
Piss funny. He really does get into the role.
Well, he doesn't even sound like him or anything.
He's totally made up. Totally made up.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. He's nothing like him. But he's done well. He's done well. Do you know anybody watch Friday Night Tights?
Last night?
Yeah.
Bits of it.
You know, they had X-Ray Girl on.
Yeah.
Who is she?
Oh, she, you know, have you heard of the guy? You heard of the guy called Mark the Cyborg?
No.
He runs the Geeks and Gamers gaming channel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He's basically the gaming expert. He's her other half.
Oh, right, because she never said anything in that, as far as I could tell.
No,
I didn't watch all of it though.
She was just the producer of the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense, I guess. But yeah, I was just wondering whether she didn't say anything. Because I was scrolling through it and I was thinking, is she going to say something?
You're right.
She didn't really say anything at all.
Lady Gravemaster used to be a producer and she never really came on screen, but she had to leave because of family stuff. So X-Ray Girl's taken over.
Oh, right. Okay. Because X-Ray Girl's only got like 92 people subscribed to her channel.
Is she like some sort of token woman?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Token Asian, yeah.
Oh, no, I wasn't thinking because she was Asian. I was thinking because she was a woman.
Well,
I have seen her before in I believe that she was to do with the Geeks and Gamers stream when that whole Snyder thing happened.
I think she was
I noticed this exact same thing that Ian did, that she never said a word. She hardly said a word. And I was like, well, what's this all about?
We could never accuse you of being like that, could we?
Who?
What?
Me?
Yes, you.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know
we
what
could
you mean.
never accuse. Listen, Swap Shop got it. I got it. You obviously weren't listening because you were talking.
No, I was listening.
I didn't get it.
I always listen to Swap
Which just
Shop.
proves my point.
I always listen to Swap Shop.
I didn't get it. I was listening.
No.
Was it a joke?
I was saying it was like a racial thing. I didn't. No, I never even saw that. I do remember it being on there.
Swap Shop, could you please explain the joke?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I get it myself. What was the joke again?
The joke was.
Sorry, it's in someone else's head.
It's only in Ian's head, apparently. I
killing
didn't get
the
the
fucking
joke.
stream, but anyway.
No, you're killing it.
What's the joke?
Why?
Yeah, go on, tell us the
joke.
The joke was he said she never said anything on the stream.
Right. Okay, and
yeah,
and I said it's something what we could never accuse you of doing.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's one of those insulty jokes. One of those insulty jokes.
It's a good job we've only got a minute left.
Tick.
Fucking hell.
Tick. Yep.
I'm just going to say, if there's one guy who I can count on every time on one of these streams, it's MC. Thank you, sir. Listen, they're thick as fuck, a lot of them.
No, we just don't like listening to you.
Well,
I love you too.
You're like in the background.
well,
Like
as
noise
I-
in the background.
it was a good stream, and it's time to go to bed.
Yeah,
That's all I
I've
can
got to
say.
go too.
Yeah, I think that's it. That is the last one. The kind of carrier thing over the Silag pit.
That's very different to the
yeah,
actual
that's
scene,
good.
isn't it? Right.
Yeah, I'll just say then, everybody in the chat, steady numbers for about 2 hours. So I do thank you. Hope you enjoyed the content, guys. Thanks for staying with us on Saturday. I will just thank Swap Shop for popping in. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
I will also thank the MegaGeek because he wants to nip off to bed. Thank you, my friend.
No worries.
I hope you enjoyed yourself. I think you did. You got excited.
I did.
Good to hear,
Loved
mate.
talking about stuff
Good
like
to hear.
this.
Mr. Pott, thank you, my friend.
Thank you and good night.
Night, Pat. Night, Matt.
He can't
Good
get his
night,
words
Matt.
out.
I just think that's hilarious. Good night, Matt. You take care of yourself, pal. You take
Cheers,
you
everybody. Take care. Listen, have
Yeah.
a great remainder of your weekends. We'll probably see you at some point during the middle of the week. Cheers, everybody. Take care. Sleep tight. Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.